Okay. Hello there. Welcome to Roast Mortem, a show about Chinese metaphors. My name is Tom.
Yeah.
Ho Chi Minh. Ho Chi Minh. My name is Travis, and I'm Ho Chi Minh.
I will be your Cody for this evening.
And I'm Mike.
And
Go.
wow,
Loud?
Look. Are you too loud in the mics? Can everyone hear Mike?
Heard that one?
Yeah, I can hear Mike. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
good.
I hear Mike so well. He's like the smoothest voice in the room.
All right, good.
In
Yeah,
the digital room.
I hope the people at home or in their car are hearing the same mic that I'm hearing.
Hey.
A smooth one.
It's good. It's a breadcrummy voice. It's a voice
What's that supposed to mean?
It's a good voice.
Breadcrummy
Everyone
voice?
likes breadcrumbs. Find me someone who
No,
doesn't like
no,
breadcrumbs.
no.
Hmm?
Mike, you're better than breadcrumbs.
Just
You're
breadcrumbs,
panko,
Tom? What do you
dude.
think
Straight
about me?
panko.
Panko crumbs?
Yeah, you ever heard like, oh, that voice has a lot of cream to it? You,
like
you
that.
got the
Cream
rough
is
and
better.
tumble. You got the rough and tumble opposite. You got panko.
Yeah, it's good.
Like that.
I'm complimenting your voice. It's nice to listen to. I like it. I know the guys like it. That's why you're still on the
Yeah.
show.
I
yeah.
appreciate that.
Of course. All right.
We got a really fun. We got a really fun episode tonight. But I gotta ask, how's your week?
Oh shit.
How's the week happening? The week.
Zoe.
I think we should start with Mike. It's been a while. You know, I know he was here last episode, but we're catching up because the three prior he wasn't here. And if you're a super fan, you would know that.
I rolled my ankle. So that, yeah.
Oh,
it's-
Mike
I have
rolled the
bad-
joint.
I hurt my ankle. I've been
Oh,
it's just been, yeah,
What
it's been
What-
hurting.
what does roll the ankle mean in kids speak?
So like when I came down on my ankle, it like rolled and I heard a crack and I was like, oh, fuck.
I think
Oh.
Mike is the oldest one of the show. This guy's like
Yeah.
fucking 65.
he has the
Yeah.
oldest knees. We know that.
I know, I gotta get that fucking metal legs or some shit soon.
I would endorse your metal legs. I would, you know,
I think I said it before on
you
the
know, like
show,
one of
too.
those
I want legs like
marathons
that.
when you sign up to sponsor
charity?
some charity or kids, and it's just like, oh yeah, you're running. I will give you $1 a mile, sir.
Yeah.
So you can give it to children. This is what I'll do. How about this? We'll make you run for metal legs directly. We'll cut out the middleman. If you run 3,000 miles, we'll give you metal legs.
Really? I would do that.
We'll give you the Lieutenant Dan model, though.
Right.
What do you mean?
Hot Asian wife, not a lot of bending though.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to learn to tic-tac around very
Hey.
well on your skateboard.
It'll look like
Oh.
you're dancing.
All right,
We
Cody,
shine.
how was your week? Did you have Jenny's leg, single leg, that came out of her Forrest Gump?
My leg? Wait, what?
Dude,
Travis did
Jenny
this
had a Forrest
humongous
Gump.
swing and a miss, and I'm still recoiling.
Jenny had
from it.
AIDS and she gave it a Forrest Gump.
Yeah, you want to know why?
She-
Because she had a Lieutenant Dan leg.
No, because Jenny actually never
triplets?
had sex with Forrest Gump because
No, that's the tragedy.
they didn't teach sex education down south. So he thought just sitting on her lap for an hour was sex.
Tom, I beg to differ. I have seen the movie. It's called Forrest Hump. I picked it up at
Oh,
a local
That-
video store
That
around the
wasn't
corner
the
from me.
sequel.
That
That wasn't the sequel.
that video is near and dear to my heart. But if you look closely, there's no real penetration. It's a green screened hot dog.
Voiced by Tom Hanks. For
Voiced
some
by
reason.
Tom Hanks. Yeah, they got, or his brother Alan Hanks. And-
All right, Cody.
yeah. So Cody, what's your week like? Sorry
No,
for
it was,
taking
it was
that
that
over.
No, that was my week. Just oh fuck, nothing happened to me this week.
Nothing at
Some
all?
of those things. I was gonna say like, oh, I fucking did research for this episode, but that's not true. Travis did the research for this episode, so I've literally been doing nothing all week.
Big
Fucking-
wind up for nothing. Right.
Yeah, it's weird.
All right.
Well, yeah.
I'm gonna be you right too, Tom. How was your week? I like
Okay.
when I ask you how's your week. You didn't ask me.
Well,
I'm a good boy.
well, we know that I've changed the way I look about weeks in general. Thank you for asking, Travis. My week was splendid.
Oh,
I was able
Tom with the
to
adjectives.
get a lot of things done. Knick-knack, paddywhack, if you would. Give a dog a bone. I have a dog. I gave her several bones. But the thing I was looking forward to the most this week was asking my friend Travis how his week was. So now I get to do it. Travis, how was your week, buddy?
Oh, man. Wow, I don't think I've ever been asked how's your week like
Yeah,
that.
it's like some kind of kindness kung fu. I hate it.
How was your week?
Well, my week, I want to start with an ancient proverb.
Whoa.
Goes like this. Your world's on fire. How about yours? That's the way I like it, and I'll never get bored.
Oh, no.
Hey,
Oh,
man.
the ancient proverb of
What's
Smash
going on,
Mouth.
buddy?
Yeah, no, Oregon's on fire right now. All my windows are closed. I have an air purifier. Yeah.
Right.
Tell the people at home where the Patreon is, Travis.
Yeah, go to patreon.com/I don't want to be on fire. Go fund me, Travis.
You heard it.
Now I
We
gotta
all
ask
heard it.
because we're living in these terrible times. Is the COVID virus responsible for this? For these
Dude,
fires?
There's actually a right-wing conspiracy that Antifa started the fires.
Okay, I believe it because I was just told
they
by a
started
good
with?
friend, and you can't disprove that. So
Oh, okay.
now I have a fact that I can check. My friend
Was your,
Travis
good,
Lee.
was your good friend 63 years old on Facebook?
I thought it was a baby announcement. They're like, "Yo, it's a girl," and the whole shit just like.
Yeah, that's what they're
No,
saying.
that's in
yeah.
California. They're retarded
Oh,
down
yeah,
there.
you said it before. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they had the gender. They had a gender fluid announcement, so they wanted to see what kind of fluid the baby was going to come out of.
Oh.
What, was the embryonic fluid going to be? Was it going to be
Aunt Jemima's?
Coca-Cola or was it going to be Sunkist? Apparently, it was Sunkist because the whole sky is orange.
Imagine being at that
Orange.
party. How embarrassing! Listen.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, if you were at if you were at a gender reveal party that was a success
Yeah, how's
without
that,
burning
what's that look
anything
like?
down, you're still an embarrassment.
Yeah.
So everything's on fire. Everything's orange out here. I actually bought some more shrimp because I figured, hey, I have an
Oh,
aquarium.
no.
If my apartment lights on fire, need the shrimp to rescue me.
Right,
Let's spill water on it.
smoke shrimp.
Yeah. So that's pretty much a week. I got shrimp. I'm getting ready for the surgery because the show's too funny and my guts keep popping out of my body.
Yeah, I have difficulty bringing that back to center oftentimes. Like, you have had multiple surgeries because of this show, Travis.
Dude, I am a podcast veteran. I get a purple heart.
That's
I get a
what that
purple
is.
heart from the podcast world.
Yeah, and the mesh is the shrapnel.
Right. And then Mike will also be joining you as a podcast veteran soon, as we're going to
Yeah.
remove his legs
Hey, take him.
for no particular reason.
Yeah, why not?
We're going to make it happen because lore is important. And you know what else is important? Telling a fucking story and perhaps getting to the goddamn episode. Not that I'm angry. This is just how I feel right now. And also people who talk about their feelings on podcasts too often are terrible, so I'll stop that. What is on the chopping block? What are we doing tonight, guys?
All right, so you might have seen a name that you don't know for this one. It's one of those ones where it's like, what is this name? I don't know. I don't know what it is. I think those are some of our funniest episodes, by the way.
They're good ones.
Like, not to say our big name guys aren't funny, but like the ones where it's like the Rare or like,
Yeah,
I don't know, like random ass people. Those are the funny ones. Go back and listen to them.
I agree.
This episode is going to be very different because we're going to start it off. Numbers are going to get high for our show, guys. I don't know if you're ready for fame.
Oh,
We're
no.
starting it off with true crime.
Oh, dude.
Who approved this?
I don't
Mike,
need
did you
approval.
approve him? Did you approve?
Yeah, give a thumbs up, Travis.
No, you don't approve. You never approve Travis.
You're not opinionated enough.
Damn.
God damn it. This is a stance we've taken at Roast Mortem since day one. True crime is for... I can't think of the word right now because I don't say it on the podcast often.
Oh,
True
wow.
crime.
No, true crime is great. It's just that there's a saturation, and we acknowledge that there's a lot of people who are out there doing it, and they're hacks.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we're gonna start the episode off with true crime, but don't worry, it's still roast mortem. This is a dumb idiot. We're roasting a dumb idiot's life, and he's not.
All right.
He's not. Whatever. All right.
Quick,
So
put in sound design.
yeah.
Oh.
Ooh.
Do whatever.
Oh, I can
want-
feel the money.
I want some fucking bats and shit right now.
Make a
Okay.
door being unlocked really fast and
Ooh.
sudden, like
Yeah,
like
heavy footfalls.
like molesty. It's just like coming in to molest.
And then something sharp.
Tree branches on the windows.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. I
So
like
hold
that.
on, I'm getting into my zen right now. I've just come back from Joann's and picked up a whole bunch of Halloween decorations. I'm ready to get spooky.
Put your dick away.
So it's 2 a.m., February 17th, 1872, in the shitty Dickensian slum of Lambeth, London.
Ooh.
George Merritt, father of 6, was getting ready for work. Now, George was a country boy, but found his way to the big city of London. Due to a bunch of penis-making mistakes, he could not afford to live in the good part of town anymore because he banged out his wife too much, had too many kids. Ended up in Lambeth.
Uh-oh.
Okay, we can blame it on that.
Wow.
That's fine.
Yeah,
no, I'm fine. The economic system back then was ripe with opportunity, and it was only that of if you had too much sex with your wife without pulling out, did you find yourself in the slums? It's true. It's very true.
Some guy in a big, tall, woolly hat comes in and is like, hey, you got too many kids. Right. You live over there now. And then they just move your stuff.
That and Irish citizenship. Those two things were synonymous.
Didn't have condoms back then? Or like the lamb condoms?
Let me ask you something. Would you put a dead lamb on your lower body?
No.
Oh, well, that's metal.
Yeah. That wouldn't kill the mood?
Yeah, no.
7 people in the course of history have actively used them. Were they there? Of course they were. Did people use them? Get out!
So, Lambeth, which is like a burb of London or district of London, it used to be on the outskirts of London. Now it's incorporated into London. But Lambeth was, if you can imagine a Victorian London slum, that's what it is. So it's a bunch of factories pumping out black smoke, dogs humping drunk beggars in the streets, mystery liquid in the cracks of the cobblestone.
Yeah.
Mystery liquid.
Feels good.
Dude, you don't know what that mystery liquid is? It could be like cum.
Yeah, you're true. You're right. I know what you're talking about.
It's like there's like 7 odors in the air, Mike, and 3 of those you will never actually experience in your real life because those are pollutants that have all been outlawed entirely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mercury and jisms in the road.
You'll never know what that smells like, Mike.
Don't try.
Don't try to smell it.
Don't try. That's that's not a challenge. That's just if you exist, you're not gonna smell it.
Why is it bad? Like kill your brain or something like that?
It might be a little brain killing.
Might be a little semen killing.
Yeah.
So George worked at one of the biggest breweries in the area, the Red Lion Brewery, which of course make beer in the grossest part of town. That's smart.
Right. Which is also right next to Red Lobster Eatery.
Weird.
Yeah. So anyway, he puts on his brewing dungarees or whatever you wear when you make beer, and starts walking down the dark streets to work. It's 2 a.m, right? And it's winter. It's cold. You can see his breath, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to paint a picture.
Right.
Swick, help me. Make it spooky.
Just reverb through some of this. Pick your points. Use auxiliaries, not directly on the track. We'll talk about it.
So all of a sudden, George is walking down the street, and he hears a shout, and he turns around, and he sees a man running at him full speed.
Oh, shit.
Now, George starts running closer and closer to the brewery. He's already walking to the brewery. The brewery has these big gates. He starts running towards the gates.
And he's showing up to work at 2 a.m.
At 2 a.m., yeah.
Okay.
Right, you gotta wake all the oats up before you make soda out of them.
Gotta scare them real
good.
Yeah,
this is London. The beer never sleeps there. I mean, New York is a city that doesn't sleep. The beer never sleeps in London.
It clicked. It just clicked.
Yeah. So the man continues to run at him, nonstop, just, and all of a sudden,
that's the worst type of running at anything.
Yeah,
run.
So all of a sudden, his pursuer stops.
The Kermit run.
Yeah. All of a sudden, his pursuer stops. He pulls out a pistol from his coat, levels it, and fires. The shot whizzes past George's head. There's another shot, and another one.
Whoa.
And unfortunately, our boy George took a bullet right through his neck fleshlight and collapsed on the cold cobble road, blood filling the cracks, adding to that aforementioned mystery, like scum shit.
That's scary. Holy fuck.
Spookums. Mad Spookums.
Why did you shoot him? What the fuck is it? What did he do to him?
Well, now Mike has never listened to a podcast at all. He is only featured on
drawn
podcasts.
in.
That's why I admire you,
Mike.
But this is all right. So that's true crime. We're painting a
You're painting
a
the
picture.
yeah.
We don't know.
Come
Well,
on,
this is
dude.
Clue. This is
Well,
Tim
I'm interested.
Curry.
I'm interested. I was so sad.
Just
It's good. You're
be a host, not a listener.
I owned a Siamese cat once, so I'm kind of like my favorite murder. So you know what?
We got you.
Okay. Did you kill your cat?
True crime mystery. No, I didn't. I love that cat like my baby boy.
Okay,
He
sure.
does.
More than
Sounds
I'll
like-
ever love a child.
Sounds like a quote that I could find in a future murder mystery true crime podcast. Okay, Mike, I admire you. Travis, how was your week? Cody, you in there with me?
I'm still here. I'm strapped in, baby.
Okay, let's go. Travis,
So-
take it away.
A few blocks away, Constable Henry Burton heard the gunshots. Now, you might think, all right, this is a London slum in the 1870s. There's probably a lot of people getting shot,
Yeah.
right? It's old-timey-wimey, right?
It's mad cold out,
Gross.
too.
Yeah.
But
No one's outside.
surprisingly, gun crime was never really all that common in London. Guns are loud, they're expensive, and this is a time of black powder, so they're smelly and unreliable. That's why Londoners almost always stuck to doing the stabbing, the little slicing and dicing that they love to do.
Right. Which is, if you look at current London crime rates, they have stuck to that rich heritage of stabbing each other, even to
Very important.
2020.
Tradition. Never let
It's
it die.
kind of fair, too. You kind of like... Gun is like one shot, you can just die. I guess with a knife, you can get sliced in the throat and die.
Sometimes you got to go over and over again. I don't know. I've never killed someone, but I have seen I've seen several movies with deaths featured in them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when I was living in the UK, this was like the 2000s. London actually did a knife amnesty. Which, like, in the U.S. or somewhere, like, I don't know, Australia apparently gave up all their guns, and they're like, gun amnesty, turn your guns in. But, like, how do you do a knife amnesty? Most of these knives are, like, you know,
Butter.
chef knives. Butter knives.
It's a
Yeah.
tool. And
Yeah.
you know what? Knives are fun. They're a good time. Look at the duster wearing 13-year-olds that buy them from head shops. They're having fun.
Great fun.
You can't convince them otherwise.
So
Why would they hand it in?
So Constable Burton hears this gunshot shot. It's a rarity. And obviously
Yeah.
he knows what it is. You know, a little caveman, you know, like, oh, what was that big bang bang sound? It's like, it's a gun.
Gun.
So immediately he blows his whistle and starts running towards the direction of the shot. Upon arriving to the scene, George is bleeding out on the cobblestone, you know, hole through his neck. And the killer is standing right over him with his gun still in his hand. So he didn't have to look far. The guy's just like, oh.
Hello.
Which is another huge problem. Officers, I know there's a lot of heat on these policemen right now, but a whistle versus the gun in the moment over a bleeding man. I don't know. I wouldn't be
Just
very
keep
happy
tuning.
with just having a
keep
whistle
tuning.
if I was
Yeah,
hired
right.
to do that.
I'm
Yeah.
like, oh,
I might ask my precinct to lease me a weapon.
like a baton or something.
Anything.
Something.
Well, just not the whistle. What is, you know?
Well, so lets everyone know you're coming.
I want a
too,
bull
so,
whip.
Like, they just run away, right? Isn't that like a bad idea?
I think that's because I think the way that cops region to region like to become the victims themselves. Like the cops over in England like to say that they're victims.
With those little funny hats. I
Yeah,
like that.
they're basically just blowing rape whistles, going, "Oh, I'm doing good shit." And then the guys over here, they do more of the opposite approach, where they actually kill more people than anyone, and say my job is very dangerous. When in fact, it's like, you know, it's not any more dangerous than working at a Burger King in like anywhere.
Well, all right, I'll tell you why they blew the rape whistle.
Yeah.
Well, I know. Basically,
It's
the
a crime
rape whistle. The rape whistle,
It's a rape
crime whistle,
Yeah.
is to tell other officers in the area that there is
Yeah.
a crime.
And
So
it also
he blows
lets
this.
witness. It might generate one or two extra witnesses too, because
Yeah.
when you hear like
Oh,
the crime
true.
whistle, you start paying attention,
Oh,
and
there's
you
like
might
something
see
going
someone.
on. Yeah.
Yeah, you might see like a shady figure sprint past you. And
No,
then
wait
when,
till I
like,
see
two
that
officers
person.
show up afterwards. They're like, "Where'd he go?" You can
Yeah.
point in the right
Oh, yeah,
direction.
I
Right.
It's
can
like,
see the
There's
benefits
no,
like that.
there's no walkie-talkies. So
No,
like the
no,
whistle
no.
is like, I need backup. I heard something fucking
Okay,
weird.
that makes sense.
everyone
And
pay
him-
attention too.
Yeah, his backup was a guy named Constable Torrent, and
He was
he
up?
heard this
You heard that
He
shit?
heard this. What's that?
You heard that whistle?
Yeah,
Oh.
he heard
Yeah,
that
they're-
whistle.
They're close knit.
Yeah, he heard that whistle. He arrived on the scene, and he grabbed the shooter, who he described as a tall, well-dressed man who looked surprisingly out of place in this shithole of Lambeth.
Oh, okay.
Well, did he grab him with his whistle?
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's like
like
blow my
garroted
whistle,
him.
baby.
Oh, gotcha, bitch! I'm gonna whistle at you. I'm gonna catcall and whistle at you until you're on the floor. You'll never see it coming.
He just stood there and took it. He just like, all right, it's game over. He didn't.
Yeah, the guy just stuck around, and Officer Torrent said that he had the appearance of a military background. Something about the way he dressed, he was like very well put together.
Gotcha.
Right?
Okay.
So Constable Torrent asked, who is it that fired? And the man said, I did. And he held up the gun to show the constable, who quickly took it away from him. The
Good constable, yeah.
Yeah. The constable asked, whom did you fire at? And the man replied, it was a man. Do you not suppose I would be so cowardly to shoot a woman?
Well, he's a nice guy, I guess. Not really.
No, he's
To the point.
This guy is a problem because he doesn't believe in equal opportunity.
It's true.
Yeah, bitches need to get shot at too.
Everyone needs to be shot at
Wow.
equally. A woman can get shot just as good as a man can. Okay.
So
Yeah.
George was rushed off to the hospital where he shortly bled out and succumbed to his neck hole. And,
Stop.
Yeah, and the man was taken into custody. When he was questioned why he shot the man, he said that it was a mistake and that he had shot the wrong man.
Oh.
Oh, you're
And
free to
oopsie
go
flip
now.
Fucking daisy. Yeah, just this way, sir.
Thanks for
Also-
explaining yourself.
Also, to add a little bit of extra creepiness, because this is getting close to Halloween and shit, the guy had a whole bunch of surgical instruments in his jacket.
Ew.
The shooter?
Yeah,
The
surgeon?
shooter.
Okay. This is back when surgery was more of like a fantasy thing. So
Like
we can
back alley?
relate him to like surgery was a joke back then. Like
It
people
was
like
something
LARPing.
barbers did.
right, people were taking it seriously,
yeah,
but the
yeah.
public didn't. Just the way
Yeah.
anime is treated today, which will be our future overlord, which will be the Japanese anime creators, the same way
Yeah.
the doctors have taken over today and are telling us to stay in our houses. In the future, it'll be like, stay in your houses because anime.
Hentai 2028, motherfucker.
Right. So this is very, you can relate to it that way. You know, the same way a school shooter is anime, beard loving people. This is this guy.
You know how sometimes anime does like a Western version of like I guess an Eastern version of like a Western thing, like the Magnificent Seven
Or like the entire
yeah.
the entire concept. Yes.
right.
Like
I
Trigun
think
like
that in the
kind of?
I think that in the future, our Bill of Rights is just going to be an anime series.
Ooh.
Yeah. Bill of Rights. And it's going to be a guy named William that everyone calls
Yeah.
Bill. And he's the one that has to reinstate all the rights as they're taken away from underworld demons who, who happen to have a dark complexion because anime seems to not have a problem with being racist all the time.
Yeah. Rights like WRIGHTS. So
Yeah.
it's like Bill Rights.
Exactly. Bill of Rights. Writing it
Bill
up.
of Rights it is.
It's great. Okay. Now I'm sorry for being such I'm taking a lot of narratives that I think that you're trying to take, Travis. So how was your week?
Oh, man.
So
Groundhog
Constable Torrent was actually right about the killer. He did, in fact, have a military background, but he had not served in Her Majesty's Royal Service.
Ooh.
Which country do you
Foreigner.
know? Which country do you know that likes to carry guns at all the time, is quick to shoot first and then investigate, and is rife with undiagnosed mental illness and has a lack of moral consciousness.
Oh, Daddy, is it Florida?
You're right. It's America, and this man actually was in Florida at one point.
Oh,
yay! I was thinking Italy, but that's neither here nor there. Both very sick places. I know. I live here. Sick place over there. Very sick. They have pizza, delicious Parmesan.
Yeah, maybe the Soviet Union.
There it looks pretty good.
Soviet Union. Yes, that's another good one. Wow,
a
lot of the world is like us.
So, the killer was in fact American, and our killer was none other than 37-year-old William Chester Minor, who was our subject for tonight.
Oh. Interesting.
He is a murderer, sex fiend, and one of the major contributors to the most impressive resource ever compiled in the English language. And that would be the Oxford English Dictionary.
My God. So, do you know, it's imagine like the roller coaster excitement you usually have, but like also imagine like the same exact excitement you get when you're going to have a hand job from someone that doesn't speak English. It's that type of excitement that burns inside of me right now, Travis.
That's good. I wish I was at where he's at. I'm still trying to figure out this. I'm trying to figure out more ways to tie Italy to Florida. They're both boot-shaped.
Yeah, he's good. Little transposition needed, but
another thing, weren't we doing an episode on a woman tonight?
Oh, the schedule was wrong.
Oh, okay. I actually didn't know who we were doing till just now.
See?
This is a first time for Roast Mortem where we made it 20-something minutes into an episode where I had no idea what the fuck was going on.
I'm just clueless as all hell. I totally missed that reminder.
No, I looked at the calendar that we had, and we had a different... I'm not going to give it away, but we had a woman's name there. And I said, wow, it's about time we show them.
You pay attention too hard.
Yeah. and I'm like, where's this going? Is this a love triangle? Is this a crime of passion?
Could be.
Are we going to see something? Is this going to be Who Framed Roger Rabbit all over again? And now, now it's just a different guy. I'm here as Tom to be just as confused as you could ever be.
Tom is so in the moment right now.
All right, Tom. So I was like kind of juggling a whole bunch of different people. There was a woman that I was researching. And I might return to her. I might need to get some more books on her, but I'm researching a really big subject right now in the future.
That's no way to treat a woman by calling her a really big subject.
You threw an audible, and we're all excited.
Yeah, so I have a really big person that I'm researching right now, and I needed a shorter book to research.
Oh my God! So here's Travis flying by the seam of his pants without any approval from anyone, and we're just gonna hope this somehow turns into an episode. Fine, so, I'm on board for this game.
Yeah,
Travis.
And he started with true crime.
We started with true crime, and we're going to go into the English language. This is a big episode.
All right.
Oh, my God.
I'm down.
Mike happens to be an expert in the human language known as English.
Safety is off for this episode. Holy fucking shit.
Yeah, my ass is being dove into a fucking a dictionary gun first. If you know what I mean.
Wow.
I want to give a big shout out to my source. It is The Professor and the Madman by Simon Winchester. It's a super quick read. It was actually a really good book. I liked it a lot. And apparently there was a movie made about this only a year ago, starring Sean Penn and none other than Hollywood's own madman, Mel Gibson.
What?
Oh, I gotta watch this movie.
I never heard of the movie. The movie is called The Professor and the Madman. I'm reading the book, and I looked up the book, and I was seeing movie trailers. I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh,
well, dude, that's there is a coincidental thing where there's something in the ether sometimes. Like we've released episodes that were other podcasts, possibly lesser podcasts, have released that subject around the same time. We don't keep tabs over people. Remember when you did Roy Cohn?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm going to go watch that Roy Cohn movie. And you were like, there's a movie? I've just been reading this fucking book.
Yeah.
It just happens sometimes. So I'm going to watch that Sean Penn movie, and I'm going to watch a hero at work. Mel Gibson. Let's go.
Mel Gibson, American hero, born in Australia.
Maybe. It
So
doesn't
I
matter
think-
at this
Oh,
point.
he's Australian?
I think the real idiot of this story is going to be none other than the English language, because
Oh.
it is dumb. And we're
Yeah.
going to go into how dumb the English language is.
All right.
Cody's on board.
Now,
Thank you, Travis.
we are going to shit talk William Chester Minor, our subject, but he did suffer from some real deal mental illness.
All right.
But I say that with the fact that a quarter of all podcasts are making fun of murderers and serial killers that have real mental illnesses. And another quarter of the podcasts are talking about how wet they got over Charlie Manson, Ted Bundy, and Jeffrey Dahmer. So I don't give a shit about making fun of William Minor.
Right. I do have a problem with the latter, and I have the problem with some of the prior because they're just not funny.
Mm-hmm.
But some of them are. And I'm not going to name names because that would be cross promotion that was unwarranted.
That'd be unapproved cross promotion.
Yeah, and I don't. And no one's ever promoted us ever. Okay, and anyone who has, thank you.
Well,
But I also
yes.
have to ignore you for the sake of this bit.
Thanks not for human consumption.
Yeah, we love you.
I like those guys. I've never listened to their podcast. Just kidding. You'll never know exactly where I'm coming from on this. Okay.
It's dodgy.
So, William Chester Minor was American, but he was born in 1834, far, far, far away from his home in New England.
Far, far away.
Oh.
He was born on an island called Ceylon in the Indian Ocean.
Salad?
Ceylon.
Oh, Salon.
Okay. Salon.
You probably don't-
In the Indian Ocean, shampoo is one of the words that we borrow from Indian. Continue.
Oh, you said New England. Indian Ocean?
Were you listening to the words that were
God
falling out of my
fucking
mouth?
You
Damn
said
it,
New
Mike.
England, and then you said Indian Ocean.
No, he wasn't. He was
Yeah,
born.
but I also said other words in between that.
Ah.
He wasn't born in New England. His family's from New England, but he was born. All right.
all right.
I'm going to keep talking.
On
Yeah.
an island,
So you don't know-
island called Salon.
Raise your hand
And I-
next time, Mike.
Sorry.
God.
Yeah.
Yes, there's an
Ceylon
island
Island.
called Ceylon, and you might be like, oh, where's that? It's not called Ceylon anymore. It's called Sri Lanka. He's
Nice.
born in Sri Lanka.
Mm-hmm.
So the Miners, his family, Mike, following his last
Yeah.
name is Miner. The Miners came from a prominent family in New England, and they traced their roots back to the original crazy pilgrims that came over to the New World.
Okay.
Now, when they kept up the tradition of these crazy puritanical Christians because they were none other than Congregationalists.
Oh.
What's that mean?
Oh.
I've talked about, I think 3 or 4 Congregationalists now, and they are crazy. They are basically the people that think that the physical Satan is hiding in the bushes, jerking off, ready to bust on.
Mike, you did one of
Anyone-
these
Hell
people.
was
Yeah.
one. You did one of them.
Oh, yeah.
He was like
Yeah.
a Congregationalist.
You've done 2
Oh, that's a big ass
episodes,
word.
man.
Also, well, I do hear that if you're
Isn't that just crazy then?
I hear that if you're a Congregationalist
It's a
minor
religion.
in Sri Lanka, you can really, really excel financially. Okay.
Yeah.
You've got options.
You got options. Also, no kid. No one's asking over there. They don't ask questions over there. You want to get your goods from a minor. It's all good.
Oh.
That'd be fucked
Yeah.
up. Just being scared like that all the time, like thinking there's like a demon and shit, like in the bushes or something.
Of course, very scary.
You got to beat the devil out of it, Mike.
Why were the miners over? Why were the miners over in Sri Lanka? Well, William's father, and I love his name here, Eastman Strong Miner. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
Words.
It's a nice name.
Eastman Strong Miner and his wife Lucy were much like modern day Mormons, and they had spun the globe with their eyes covered and just put their finger down. They're like, that's where we're going to preach Congregationalism.
Okay, so they needed it. No, that's good.
Yeah. They just so happened to land on Sri Lanka. Now, these pasty white New Englanders sailed off to their new home on the Indian Ocean, and shortly after that, William flopped out on the sandy shores of Sri Lanka from his mother's vagina.
Okay, so
Flopped
surfer.
out, all right.
Surfer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
You
heard
got
that.
balance.
surfing on a placenta board.
Okay.
Oh,
It's
good.
I've been
Nice and
watching
gross.
how it's made a lot, and I just watched how to make a surfboard. There was a lot more placenta involved than I initially thought.
So 3 years after William was born, his mother Lucy died of consumption.
Oh,
TBD.
Tuberculosis.
They tried to rebrand several times.
Oh, okay.
I don't know
It's all
why
the
that
same shit.
happened. Yeah.
I don't know. You know,
That's terrible. That sucks.
it is bad, especially if you don't know if you can't have brand loyalty. It's even worse.
It's true.
Consumption is TB.
So Eastman, his father, left William's younger. Sorry. What the fuck? I had to burp, but I also had
leave
to
all
scream.
that in, Zwick,
Oh,
and I'll
no.
tell
I
you
had
why.
to burp, but I
'cause
also
it-
had to scream.
It's
entertainment.
real. It's real. That just happened.
Yep.
So Eastman left William's older sister at the mission and boarded a ship with William for Singapore. So he just leaves, and his daughter, his sister was like, I don't know, 6 or something.
What the
She's
fuck?
like, he's like, you stay here.
She's an influential minor. She's a TikTok.
Ugh.
Yeah, she had to make content. So she's off. She's making content in
Yeah.
Sri Lanka.
Ooh.
Little Willie and his dad board a ship for Singapore.
That's pretty fucked up.
Why do they need to go to Singapore?
To make content.
Well, no, because Eastman needed to do a little bit of Christian mingling at Singapore's congregational mission.
To make content.
Trying to find
Right.
a new wife.
Probably pick
Yeah.
up some office supplies too. I think Mitt Romney, who did help found Staples, he was big on that, and he's a Mormon, but the principles are the same. It doesn't matter. Underpants, globe darting for no reason, just for the God. It's all the same.
Yeah, so much like our old subject, Henry Beecher's father, he just went off to do a little bit of wife shopping. Maybe there was a few Jesus sprinkles behind closed doors. But he finds this lady named Judith, who is some hot Christian chick from New York. They get married, and then they return back to Sri Lanka to find, I don't know, maybe his sister's dead. I don't know. They never talked about her again.
Oh my god.
Good story.
Yeah.
Story.
Wild.
Back then you can get away with that shit. You just leave your kids everywhere, I guess.
Yeah, they wouldn't even call it negligence. They'd call it their story.
Adventurous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, these kids aren't neglected. They're adventurous.
They don't choose
Cue
to
the-
be, but
Hey,
they
right.
are.
They're probably like a
Yeah.
magical
Cue
adventure.
Rugrats opening.
Oh, wow. Yeah, imagine that. Here's your screwdriver and one cloth diaper. Have fun in the wild.
Don't worry, my kid's gonna grow up, and he's gonna like become like a guy who does like bespoke travel vans. So
Yeah.
he needs to have
Yeah.
the spirit of adventure in him.
Halt, I am Reptar.
So William's childhood, besides being raised by religious nut jobs, was fairly normal. He just fucking hung out. There's like something like broke his arm, climbed up a tree.
Oh, good kid stuff.
Yeah. So unlike our childhood where we had to unscramble the softcore porn channels to see some titties,
Yeah.
92,
William-
I think, right?
yeah, William had it a lot easier, and probably even easier than kids today. You see, in Sri Lanka, women and girls would just go to the beach naked. So there was
Whoa.
little Willie figuring out how to stroke his willy while peeping on chicks at the beach, and probably imagining them like all lezzing out or something. I'm just real Satan stuff.
Right, right.
Possessed by the demon.
The demon that he created in his head, Nacho Vidal.
This is like bringing me to a weird realization I have right now. You guys are using Willie as a slang for male genitalia, aren't you?
Of course.
Yeah.
Whoa, my family does it the opposite.
Why are they different and wrong?
I don't know. That's so weird to me.
Is that one of those things? Because your family,
It might be an Asian thing.
Well, I was gonna
Or it
say
might be
your
a Deep
family-
South thing. I don't know. I'm so
you're-
conflicted.
your family's from south of the equator, so is it like that Australia thing where everything's backwards?
Hawaii is not south of the equator. Well,
Well, you're from the Philippines, right? Like
Yeah,
like your
right.
family lineage.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's backwards.
How do you feel about Portuguese people?
Oh, Okay, I'll unload this story really quickly. Cody is Filipino. Filipinos really don't like the Portuguese. So instead of Polish jokes, which I realize most white people have, it's
even the Polish
Portuguese jokes in like the Pacific Islander community. And until I was about 12 or 13, I thought Portuguese was a fucking synonym for stupid people. And then I get to New York public schooling and they're just like, dude, that's a country, you're being mad racist. And I'm like, fuck my life.
No,
Portuguese
it means
is actually a race.
Yeah.
And Tom dates a Portuguese girlfriend.
She's Portuguese speaking. She's from Brazil, but I say Spanish to get underneath her skin sometimes.
You do that on purpose.
I do that
Good
all
for
the
you.
time.
Wow.
Yo soy Tomas, right? Isn't that what you guys say?
Ay, meu Deus. Vai aqui.
Yes. So I'm racist and don't even know it, apparently.
Cody, it's all right. Everyone's stupid.
You're woke now, because if you weren't, then Apple wouldn't allow us to be on their platform.
Thank you.
So, like, all right, William's doing. If you were a little he's 13 at this point. If you're a little 13-year-old boy, you're gonna be perving on the naked chicks on the beach. Come on, this is just regular boy shit.
Yeah, when you're 8 or 9-year-old, you're gonna be perving on girl shit, probably.
Right. And if anything, he's more progressive because these are little brown girls, and he doesn't care. Titty's a titty. In fact, the brown girls are a lot prettier than the white girls sometimes.
All right, you don't have to go out of your way to show how fucking open-minded you are.
Dude, I'm so woke.
They're girls on the beach. It's fine.
Okay.
He's in good shape. He's doing nothing wrong. He's a young boy. As long as he doesn't rape and they don't need to use their state-issued whistles against him.
So,
okay.
So William, 13 years old, he tells his doctor, he makes a mistake here. He tells his doctor that he was experiencing lascivious thoughts.
Ooh.
About these chicks on the beach. Remember, keeping in mind, we're going to get to the English language soon. So he's using lascivious at 13.
Lascivious. I'm not Googling what that means. I'm going to let it be a surprise.
Let's just use context clues. I think that Mike, that's what you use, right?
Of course.
Yeah, that was a spell or something.
Right.
You just said.
Mike.
Yeah,
so Mike thinks
thinks
it's magic
a
spells.
Spell. Lascivious. Okay, good.
I admit ignorance. Cody admits defeat.
Yeah.
So,
it's good.
This doctor probably tells his dad, little Eastman, that, his son might be getting the Satan boners. And Eastman,
the most powerful of boners.
Yeah, Eastman's like, I can't have my boy getting Satan boners. These natives, I'm sure he used that word, are getting all nude around my child. So he puts William on the first ship back to New England alone.
Damn.
Hell yeah.
There's no nude women there.
A boner caused this father to just send his son back to across the world.
Okay, so yes, you're going to phrase it as this. A boner. The kid's getting a boner.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ is getting knocked out of this kid's pants as the devil moves in, rent-free, into this dude's pants. It's easier to send this kid away than explain anything. This is how people thought back then. They go,
can't explain nothing.
I'll send him back to where we have Christmas trees. Maybe he'll like those and get distracted by cinnamon-flavored treats. And
get him a light bright.
And lemonades during the summer, and he won't think about tatas no more, okay? He's wrong, but that could be the rationale.
What Papa Eastman didn't know was that on the ship back to New England, William met a hot little English girl. The two hit it off. And William admitted that he did not seal the deal, but this added to his lascivious wank bank. And he would talk about this girl and the hot Indian chicks for many years to come, saying that he gratified himself in unnatural ways thinking about them.
Oh, it's natural, buddy. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Everyone's done some push-ups over a stack of donuts, okay? They're cheap, and when they're hot, it's almost like the same thing.
Let it all out, buddy.
Now, thanks to all this Jesus that his parents were pumping, really fucking pumping real hard into him, he had all these sexual thoughts that young boys have. He became ashamed of them. And that was something that stuck throughout William's entire life, was he was always ashamed of his boners and like the fact that he thought girls were hot or women were hot. So, you know.
Right.
It's a lot of pressure on the mind.
My question to you guys is, if God didn't want you to come, why does it feel so good?
That's Satan.
I feel like Jesus is the force that lifts your penis up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's him doing that for you.
Wait, Cody, are you saying Jesus is a fluffer?
No. Well, Travis, Jesus is all things to everyone simultaneously, so...
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Also, he fit in very well with the 2020 crowd, you know, as to not objectify women. I'm ashamed that I look at a woman in such a way.
Dude, he was pro-sex workers. Mary Magdalene.
I'm not talking about Jesus. I'm talking about our subject, William, here. His name is William, right?
Yeah, William.
Our subject. He's ashamed of the fact that he's a boner. Oh, that's great. I work for Vice, too.
Very, very good, sir.
So, anyway, William returns back to America, and he lives with his uncle in New Haven, Connecticut. Real boring.
You mean.
He went from Sri Lanka with naked chicks to New Haven, Connecticut.
Right, where there's two types of trees, spruce and pine.
And it's crackers for dinner.
Skiing
the side of croutons.
You used to be able to put his mouth into shallow water and have a lobster dinner ready for his next brown date. But instead, he's in spruce country. trying to have fun with a stick.
He's making snowmen and shit.
He's trying to whack his cock down from memories of an English boat ride.
Yeah.
Wow.
So William was always, he's using lascivious as a term. He was always a smart person, right? He liked his book learning. He was a real nerdy kind of guy, you know? Smart
I could relate.
So that means you're in New England, you're smart, your parents have money. He goes to Yale.
I can't relate.
Yeah. You went to an expensive New England school, right?
Not expensive good.
Just expensive.
Just expensive because that's the standard now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In New England.
It's all expensive.
Fuck my life.
So he went to Yale and he studied medicine. And not much has changed since the 19th century in terms of like studying medicine, because medical degrees took forever back then and they still take forever now.
It's a lot of work.
We don't really know so much of what happened during his time at university. I imagine he's probably playing with his Jesus rod a lot. But at the age of 29 in 1863, he graduates from Yale Medical School with a degree and a specialization in comparative anatomy.
Wow.
So he never got off that titty thing. He's like, oh, comparative anatomy, she's got tits. I don't.
Right, that's all it is.
Yeah. I thought between species, you're like between sexes.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't specify.
So he's like, I need 100 ladies to take off their shirts for science. And then after the report, what were your findings, young William? I was able to compare them.
I prefer oil on wet t-shirts over water.
Yes. And yes is the answer.
There's a difference I'm realizing.
So, 1863, America. What's happening?
Yo.
Well, we're talking about, there was that terrible thing that America did. What is that? Slavery.
Oh, yeah.
Freedom?
Yeah, the Civil War is happening. It's right around the corner. It's starting to stink up the place.
America is fighting itself in the bloodiest war it's ever fought in against itself. That's how you define the Civil War.
This is the ultimate teenage years of any country.
No, it's like a JRPG, Tom, and the status ailment is confusion, and you just hit yourself in the bloodiest way possible.
Okay, fair enough, but I'll have to tell you this right now. I don't know what those 4 letters mean together. I I compare it to when I was 13. And I thought that doing some kind of self-harm would actually give me some kind of enlightenment. Or perhaps the attention I was craving.
It gives you negative 800 HP.
And I will have to shake your hand digitally and say, that's the analogy we're going with. Teenagers hate HP.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
America
I don't
hates
get that shit.
HP right now. And William's like, hey, I'm a good Yankee boy. I'm from New England, from like one of the oldest families in New England.
Oh, good.
I have to fight these deplorable rebels. And so he's like, I'm going to join the Union Army. And what do I already know how to do? I'm going to be a surgeon.
Nice.
Ugh.
Yeah, so
Well,
we have talked about it on the show, the horrors of surgery
Oh my
during
God,
the
back
Civil
then?
War.
Uh-huh.
We're doing that episode tonight. The night you thrown Audible, we're doing this episode, Travis. Okay.
Dude,
I'm
this
so
is,
glad I ate pea soup and chicken parmesan before this.
Yeah.
I was
I'll
going to
keep
say,
it
Tom,
down.
this is a Chinese buffet, so you can get your pea soup, you can get your fucking sushi, you could get whatever you want here. This has got
Pop-Tarts.
everything here.
Right.
French fries without me.
This is the podcast about Chinese metaphors, and metaphors are actually just food because no one understands what they're saying. Because this is an English speaking podcast, and it's not that
Very
Chinese is
much.
a bad language. It's just that we're ignorant to it, and we'll take a little pride in that, just enough.
So we're going to jump into Civil War surgery. We're talking bloody stumps, shitty, dirty tools,
baby.
Ugh.
organs, entrails. And actually, I'm kind of surprised, and Tom, you can correct me maybe on your other show. I'm kind of surprised there's no gore grind band specifically about Civil War surgeries. Because that is a niche that needs to be filled.
I think I'm writing that one down right now. I feel like there is.
Workshopping.
There are several bands based around wars, but I don't know about and there is bands about surgery.
Well, I do know the band 1914. That's a World War I band.
Right?
1917.
1917. And there is General Surgery, which is a bunch of the guys from Bird Flesh and Hemorrhage, I think.
I want one that just dresses as like, in Union, and it's like the Union surgery clothes and just like the darkest civil. Like you could just recount these things and turn it into a song.
You need two drummers, and one of them, and they're perfectly synced because they're each missing a leg.
Yeah.
and they do their double
conjoined.
heavy metal double kicks that way. Could you imagine that? You and me just blasting away with one leg.
I'm ankle fuck.
Oh yeah, he's got a bad ankle. I asked the wrong guy.
Look at this foot.
Yeah, see that? We
Yeah,
can do it
fucked
together. Right? We can
ankles.
sync up.
Yeah, I can see it. Let's do
All right.
it.
Well, yes,
I'll
Travis,
do it, man.
great point. That band will happen. I'll get it to
So-
happen.
I would love
Wow.
to play this.
So-
Okay.
So just to give
I'll
this
get you
a
in the band.
perspective, I don't think we touched on this with our other Civil War surgeons.
Wow.
Civil War surgeons thought that pus was a sign of healing.
Oh,
Nice.
Ooh.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, it's a sign of you're not dead yet, but healing?
Yeah, like they cut off a limb and they're like, "Oh, that's nice and pussy. That means that you're good."
You're doing
the skin
fine.
rehealing itself. Oh.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I don't.
I see.
Yeah.
Not
Amputated vein. That's a record label. I think
Ooh.
they know that. That's not the case.
I think so too.
You
So,
need
That'd be
those.
so crazy. Just get like your fucking arm chopped off or some shit, like with like a saw or something.
Just go right through it, man.
Mike,
That's
we've
like-
just been
Mike.
talking about you getting new legs all episode.
Yeah, but I'm like thinking about it more and more. Like you're not like under something. Like you're like
Right,
awake
right.
during that.
Wait, so you want metal legs, but you don't want your own legs removed. So that makes you just what? 2 real legs, 2 fake legs in the future?
I have second thoughts now.
Mike, we're going to talk about some gross stuff. So,
It sounds a lot. It sounds painful now. I'm thinking about it. It
Oh, does amputation sound painful, Mike?
does.
okay, so William Chester Miners, he's been like, I have been called to action. I'm joining the army as a Union surgeon.
Excellent.
But now, William was not an army guy. Some of his favorite hobbies, if he had to write like a Tinder profile or something, favorite hobbies include reading,
Yeah.
painting watercolors,
Ooh,
and playing
cool.
flute.
Oh, I play the flute.
Well,
Oh well, I mean,
well,
if he
Mike.
was a lesbian, that would be fine.
He likes to paint. I like that.
All
That's
right.
cool.
Well,
Yeah, but this guy is
Mike.
This guy is about to enter a world of shit. This is the Civil War was the bloodiest war America's ever fought. Keep that in mind. Even more bloody than World War I.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy fuck. That makes sense.
So he was itching to deploy straight into the belly of the beast, Virginia, which was where, at this point of the war, this is after Gettysburg, so they're not fighting in like Pennsylvania and shit. The war's moved down south.
okay.
So William was ordered by Union command to report to Washington from New Haven to start his whole surgeon shit.
Right.
But for whatever reason, instead of going to Washington, William traveled straight to Orange County, Virginia, right into one of the bloodiest battles of the Civil War, the Battle of the Wilderness.
Ooh. Sounds cool.
So
That
No,
also sounds like a battle from Fern Gully or something. I don't really.
I
I never heard of that one, and I'm inclined to believe you, but I still will have my my Disney ripoff hat on.
All right.
So the Battle of the Wilderness, so due to the thick, swampy brush that this battle was fought in, artillery and cavalry was pretty much non-existent during this battle. It was mainly fought by infantrymen fighting with their muskets, which shoot, one shot off, and then you're fighting hand to hand with bayonets, knives.
In a swamp.
Yeah, in a swamp.
Sounds like fun. Jeez.
Oh, yeah.
So on top of all that, the forest and swamp was on fire.
Oh, fuck.
Ooh, why? Why, Professor Travis?
So I'm not going to explain what happened. I have a quote from a soldier that was at the battle, and here it is. The munition train exploded. The dead were roasting in the conflagration. The wounded, roused by its hot breath, dragged themselves along with their torn and mangled limbs, in the mad energy of despair, to escape the ravages of the flames. And every bush seemed to have shreds of blood-stained clothing.
Oh,
It seemed though Christian men had turned into fiends, and hell had usurped its place on earth.
Awesome. That's like an album cover.
I'm imagining a slightly less messy version of Takeshi's Castle.
Oh,
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I got you.
Yeah. If you don't know what Takeshi's Castle is, turn that on. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen that. Takeshi's Castle.
Have you ever seen
MXC?
MXC?
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
That's the original is
You've seen
Takeshi's
Takeshi's
Castle. So,
Castle.
yes.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and they edit out all the bloody parts and broken bone bits for it.
Really?
Yeah, that's true.
Mike fell for
I
it.
actually just made that up. It's not true at all.
What
I'm
the
sorry.
fuck? That is some
So
bullshit to watch.
But you believe me because the Japanese people are sick when it comes to their game show styling.
Oh, my God.
They do focus in on like the embarrassing parts. They like zoom in.
Right, and embarrassment and pain are almost the same thing.
I love how we're comparing, like,
Yeah, what's
a
happening?
Civil War battle to a fucking Japanese.
Well, I was sure not only was
close.
I was using a reference that some of our listeners would understand to perhaps
But it's so
maybe
full
not
circle,
maybe
it
not be
hurts.
upset. Okay, and then in turn making people like vets and people who have been through trauma very upset.
How dare you make me laugh during that?
It's nothing against vets. I like our vets. I'm not one of those. Okay.
Yeah, of course.
So
Let's
if
go.
you can imagine this Japanese game show, but instead of like, I don't know, getting the flag out from a big nose, that was a Nickelodeon show, American.
Yeah, you keep.
These are men fighting in the dirt, sticking knives into guts, and like
Swamps.
the entire forest is on fire.
Yeah.
So as you can imagine, a lot of soldiers started to hightail it out of there. They're like, I don't want to fight this shit. This is fucking crazy. The whole fucking forest is
Okay.
on fire.
Yeah.
Right.
So in army terms, that's called a deserter, obviously.
Oh.
One of the major culprits of desertion was the Irish 2nd Brigade. This was a group of 150,000 Irishmen fighting in this battle in particular, and they had been scooped up right off the docks of New York and sent straight to fight for the Union.
I don't blame them one tad. It's like you show up, you get off a 3-month boat ride, and they say,
how are the bagels?
In the smooth English, not the stuff that the bumpy Irish understand, but rather the slick East Coast language. Hey, would you like to get in on this? And of course they're going to go, yes, I had nothing to get in on in Ireland. That's exactly what I was looking for.
Yeah, we just came from a famine. Sure, throw me into fucking brutal hand-to-hand combat.
Yes.
Fuck.
Yes, so of course they're going to show up when the goods aren't exactly what they thought they would be.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, so on top of all this, a lot of the Irish didn't actually consider themselves American. They were just fleeing this famine, and they wanted to return to Ireland at some time. Some of them are actually fighting in the army to get skills to fight the British in Ireland.
Okay, that's
so they
training.
were like, ooh, yeah, let's train over here. And on top of all that, the whole idea of freeing the blacks in the South was not something that the Irish really wanted to do, because the Irish were the lowest tier of society. So a lot of them knew that if there was a bunch of black people that were freed, which were like by shittiness put below them because they were like considered subhuman by the South, then all these jobs would be taken up by the lowest tier jobs would be taken up by the black people.
Right.
So a lot of the Irish were like, fuck that. I don't want to free black people because like, why would I?
Yeah. It's a continued oppression. They have to, the way oppression really works is if you can get people who have no interest in keeping others oppressed, if you trick them into thinking that they need to do that for some political gain that doesn't exist, as it's all being controlled by people that would never even talk to you.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. So as you'd imagine, tons of these Irish are deserting. Now, the army had various tactics to punish and humiliate deserters. One of them was gagging them with a bayonet for a few days. So literally putting a bayonet in your mouth, gagging it for a few days.
That's it?
Hot.
Well, there's other ones, too. There's other ones.
Okay, because that's if they put a little shawarma on that, I think it would be reasonable.
No. I mean, shit, the forest is on fire. What the fuck do you expect? Like, I wouldn't even want to be there either.
I know, right?
Like, you gonna fucking torture me after? Like, dude, I just saw some crazy ass shit. Now you guys are gonna put like a fucking bandana down my throat.
But they're getting you. You didn't go after the Appalachia scum. Okay, you ran away.
Oh, okay.
And if you were any near as tough as they say you were with these fighting Irish folks, you'd hide under the swamp and wait to pop up like an alligator because the water doesn't go under, the fire won't go underneath the water. We all know this. I barely know science. We were just on the horn with Joey before. He knows I don't know science, but I know that much. You hide underwater for a certain amount of time, no fire.
All right, so you might change your tune, Mike, because there's some other things that they did to punish deserters. Another one was flogging, and back in the day, that's whipping, Mike. Oh. And back in the day, if you got whipped a whole bunch in the back, usually the wound would fester and you'd possibly die. Because remember, pus is a sign of healing.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
So there was flogging. There was another thing called bucking, which was basically some type of contortionist bondage where they just like bind you into some weird position and be like, all right, now march 50 miles.
Jeez.
And actually, in Tennessee, the Union Army actually crucified deserters on trees.
That's a little bit much,
Well,
speaking that the Union did have the upper hand for most of it.
Not in the beginning, but yeah.
Not in the beginning, but like, come on, crucifixion?
Yeah.
He sure as shit ain't no savior.
Yeah, he ran away.
Yeah.
So one of the most standard methods of humiliation was branding. Now, the deserters were branded with the letter D on their cheek for deserter.
Dick. Oh.
Dick.
on their left or right cheek.
I don't think they have the whole rules with like which side of your nose are you pierced.
They're doing it, baby.
Yeah, I've seen the D on kids in Brooklyn. You know, the face tattoos very prevalent for the young hips now.
Yeah, I see a lot more face tattoos. I'm younger kids.
Yeah, we the more we tend to forget that jobs are a thing.
So
That's true.
this letter D would either be branded on with a hot iron, or
Ew.
it would be cut into their face with a razor,
Oh
then
my
filled
God.
with black powder and lit.
I like the first one.
Cool.
Yeah, I'll go with the first one as well.
So you're like, why am I telling you all this?
For reasons.
This is like, all right, the battle's terrible. Whatever, people are deserting.
Yeah.
Well, William, after having to amputate hundreds of limbs and all that shit, put people's organs back in their body,
Yeah, the gross.
Where
since
they could die with
Infections and shit.
well,
Yeah.
they'll call it dignity, but really it's just experimental the experimental phase of people's lives.
Yeah.
Some people go to college and suck a dick or two. These people 16, 17, they go to school in the fields of the South and get
Look at this.
experimented on.
So
Wow.
It's all different.
So since he was the surgeon, he had the duty of branding the deserters with the hot iron. Because he's a surgeon, he knows how to do that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right,
right,
right.
safely.
Stuff.
Safely, right?
Yeah, so basically, like, the commanding officer that found these guys that were deserting were like, you have to brand this guy. And he's like, I'm a medical dude. Like, I'm trying to heal people. He's like, I don't give a
Brand
shit.
him.
Like, you fucking stick that iron on their face.
Yeah, since his young days, that was not his original idea of just handing out the D left and right.
Yeah. So it's like a violation of the Hippocratic Oath.
Yeah. So if Miner wasn't insane from all the butchery that he had to do, this branding sent him over the edge. And after all the branding he had done to countless amount of Irishmen, it left him with a fear of the Irish forever. He always thought that the Irish were out to exact revenge for forcing him to brand them.
Oof.
It's a tough job.
Yeah.
You'd be like, I'm sorry, and then do it.
Every
I
time.
apologize.
I'm sorry.
This is my job. Fuck.
Yo, that's
But also
worse somehow.
doing it like not understanding that the Irish people are speaking English. You know, like
Oh, yeah.
you know when old American folks try to speak to Mexicans and they slow down their words a lot. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Jesus Christ.
It's not one of those like, sorry, bud. It's just
No,
my
yeah,
job.
yeah,
it's like that. I'm sorry about this.
Yeah.
If you stay still, I'll get it done quicker. Promise.
Like the half sincere one.
Hearty darty. Muito sorry.
So
Wow.
all this shit happens. William survives the battle. He goes to a few other battles doing surgery. And people didn't really see a change in him. They were like, I don't know, he's doing his job. He's actually doing a really good job. Right? So eventually, after the war, he was stationed up north in New York. He reached the rank of captain. And in 1866, he was stationed at Governor's Island in New York. That's right. This is a place not only for high schoolers to take their first hit of Molly, but a place of Civil War amputees. So if any of those ravers
Wow.
see ghosts, there you go.
Civil War ghosts.
Wow. Yeah, he's still branding everyone with the D. It's just like, you're in line for Diplo.
So when William arrives, New York was hit by a cholera outbreak because Manhattan is
Sick.
a disgusting place.
A what?
Yeah.
A color?
Cholera.
What's that? Is it
It's a
like
poopy disease.
Ooh.
Yeah, you poop out all the moisture in your body, and then you join the California raisins.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike.
But not the singing ones, the ones that are just boxed
Oh,
and then
whoa.
children eat.
That
So
sounds
if you
like a
remember
good
all
time.
those fun times when I was before I talked about mutilation and shit, when Willie was
What?
just
Never.
touching his Willie,
Yeah,
Right.
back in the day.
well, that shit starts again. Instead of him touching his Willie, it was the inside of a random vagina of a whore touching his Willie.
That's
Oh.
fine.
Oh.
Yeah, it was down on the Lower East Side of Manhattan and also in Brooklyn. So every night at the end of William's shift, he would take a rowboat and row to either the East River to either Brooklyn or Lower Manhattan, where he would hit the brothels and bars.
All right, that's good. That means his cardio is up.
Yeah,
So he's getting his money's worth.
It's party.
He's high stepping.
Yeah.
So his sex drive was insatiable. He would bang a lot of whores every night. And when you bang a lot of whores every night that have been filled with countless men night after night, what you gonna get? Gonorrhea.
Dead.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oops.
Well,
I said debt and I meant it, but also gonorrhea.
should use that lamb condom.
it's a different kind of debt, Tom.
Yeah. Skin debt.
But remember, Tom, we are dealing with a doctor here, though. And doctors know how to fix the clap. They know how to do it.
This is Brandy with a D. He's got a dick clap.
No, it's different. It's different because William was like, all right, I know how to get rid of this. I'm
Put
gonna
this glass under your eyelids.
I'm gonna inject white Rhine wine into my urethra every night.
Oh.
Sounds really painful.
Oh. This is the gore part of the true crime. This is the
Are you ready? Are you ready?
I can't believe it was
Dude, I mean, imagine doing that regardless if you have gonorrhea, like putting wine into your piss hole.
Yeah, right.
I don't
Does
know.
not sound like fun.
What's the thing he's using to do that with? Is the question.
A needle.
Whoa.
This is like, okay, I'm having a hard time with this. I'm getting the same gut reaction whenever I have or may allegedly have listened to true crime and they talk about something, like pedophiles or something, and you're like, oh, terrible. Oh, so this is the closest thing to pedophilia you could do to yourself.
Yeah.
Why would you say this now for things?
I don't know. This is the gut reaction I'm having. Also,
Okay.
never did a true crime podcast.
Well, now you're doing
I
one.
imagine just
It's
shooting myself
tricky,
in the
ain't
dick
it?
with a
Yeah.
fucking needle.
So William
It hurt.
William fell for one of his ladies of the night. Well, he said she was a dancer, but I mean,
Yeah.
but that's butt stuff.
Dance.
Dancing
Yeah.
meant butt stuff
Well,
back then.
Dick dancing.
So he proposed to this lady. We don't know her name.
Like the sucker.
But William at this point, remember I said he had this paranoia of the Irish. There's a lot of Irish in New York.
Yeah.
he used
goddamn
he used to
leprechauns.
walk around with an illegal cult in his pocket. And he just was kind of deranged at this point. And actually, the mother of the dancer was like, no, you're not marrying my daughter. Like, she'll get pumped full of cum from, 8 dudes a night, but, you're not marrying.
You're not this filth. Not this Sri Lankan filth coming over here. My daughter would never marry a minor. This is ridiculous.
So all this fucking and drinking and rowing back to Governor's Island every night affected his work. And eventually his co-workers noticed, and they reported him to the Surgeon General. Remember, he's still working for the Army.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And what's kind of interesting, I didn't know this until the Corona outbreak. The Surgeon General is an actual general. He wears a uniform.
Oh yeah, no, it's the same thing as the Postmaster General.
Yeah,
Like
I
that-
never
they're
knew
important
that. I thought
people.
the Surgeon General was some nerd, but he's a general.
Yeah,
He was a real
He could be
person.
both. Why can't he be both?
I don't know.
he sits in a child's tub in his front yard with the general's jacket on in the most chlorine that is allowable in a pool that size, writing laws that don't make sense and testing different bottles, shaped bottles of ketchup and various whipped creams and things, and writing notes about them, to which most of them get lost because of the Postmaster General.
So,
Big old
Puts the labels
conspiracy.
on.
all right, so the Surgeon General's but after he's done writing his handwritten notes on packs of cigarettes, because this is
Right.
the 1800s,
Yeah.
he's like, all right, this dude needs to get far away from the pussy. So he restations William to Fort Barranca in Florida.
Sexy.
So he's off. He's now he's a Florida man.
Right.
He ships him off to Florida.
If he's
Oh,
too
no.
hot to move, then he can't have sex with women like that so much. He could still do
Over.
it, but more reasonably.
So-
Over there with him.
Yeah, William took this as an offense because this fort was an ancient fort. It was decrepit, probably from
boring and
the
shit.
actual revolution. and nothing was going on down there.
Yeah,
but
nothing. That was a Spanish territory until very recently, and there was very little U.S. occupation in most of the area.
Yeah, so he's off of this like nowhere fort, and he gets more and more angry and more paranoid in Florida, as you do.
Okay.
And then in the summer of 1868, he snapped. He said that he had spent too much time in the sun, but he suffered from vertigo and severe headaches.
I too snap from time to time when I am relaxing and maxing too much.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Too much sun gets to you.
There's just one day the sun's too strong, and you're just like kind of like fuck this, and you go inside your house and get mono and play Halo.
Yeah,
like ever.
Exactly. You make your way in from the community pool in your gated homeowner association gated area. Yeah. You walk back home, which is ridiculous because you have to drive
water wings.
Yeah, all the way home. You beat your wife. You play video games. You snap, okay? We get it. I'm sure a quarter of our listeners have snapped, okay? It's fine.
So William was relieved of his duties, and he was brought back up north, where he was interviewed and examined. And on September 3rd, 1868, it was determined that he had monomania.
Oh!
What's that?
And monomania...
guess...
you want to guess, Cody?
Heart. No, yeah, it's mono, right?
No, not mono.
Just one crazy?
So mono
crazy, very good, Mike.
Yeah. Monomania is its definition is an insanity that revolves around a fierce obsession of one topic.
Oh, got it.
So,
okay. Ultra fixation.
People do not have monomania anymore, I don't think. What this is the precursor to schizophrenia.
Cool.
Okay. You mentioned before that you weren't gonna you were gonna have fun with mental illness, and all of a sudden I feel like making a stink about it. So how dare you? How dare you talk about this? Is out of this man's control. He is monomania, and also I didn't get my guess in. That would be hand crazy because that's Spanish. Okay.
Oh yeah, Tom.
So he's going hand crazy. He's touching, feeling everybody.
He's going. I will touch.
Right.
Yeah, he's going non-stereo crazy.
Oh, I hate that. Like, get the fuck away from me.
He's slapping every ham in the Publix, and they go, let's bring him up north and see if we can knock the cuckoo out of this nutter. But no, they just call him monomaniac.
And he keeps going north.
Yeah, all the way up. He doesn't stop.
So,
no.
William, at the age of 34, was institutionalized at Government Hospital for the Insane in Washington, D.C.
Wow.
Damn.
A year later, he was the Army basically made him retire from the Army, and they gave him a handsome pension back when the government cared about its vets. And he was released from the asylum and given to his friends and family. They're like, you can, live on your own as long as someone's keeping an eye
watching
on
you.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And also, I'm going to stop you and correct you there. The government has never cared about their vets. It's just back then they were able to give them $18, and they were able to live off of a year for that.
That's true. So he stayed with his friends and family in New Haven and also in Manhattan. A lot of his old military buds were in Manhattan because he was working on Governor's Island. But then for whatever reason, he decided to book a one-way ticket to London. And of course, he brought his trusty Colt with him.
The one time you need the TSA.
Right?
Yeah, right.
Well, we're not time travelers.
Look, we think we are, because we start the TSA right after the two towers come down. Let's see. Let's see if we can fix that by good intentions and a touch of retardation.
Well, see,
too real.
The TSA really didn't give a shit when people were smuggling cocaine in their asshole, because that meant they got cocaine.
Yeah, in fact, they probably asked for it.
Yeah. Can you go to the bathroom right now? Here's a butt plug to help you loosen up.
You know that whenever there's a situation like that, there's several agents that are willing to respond and put their lives on the line. Some of them may be semening out of their ankles of their pants as they finger the asshole of a Colombian drug mule.
So,
gotta find it.
Wow.
William Minor goes off to London, and this brings us back to where I started the episode in the night of February 17th, 1872.
Holy shit.
That shit happened, and William thought that he was chasing an Irishman that had been spying on him while he was sleeping. And that
filthy.
And when he went onto the street, he saw George Merritt, who just so happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Oh, poor dude.
And
that sucks.
Yeah.
Like,
he's like, I'm not even Irish.
Yeah, I gotta work at 2 in the morning too. That's fucking mad early and shit.
Yeah, it's not
half awake.
Oh my
like,
God.
oh fuck, it'll work.
Yeah, it's not like he's getting up to do crime. He's just getting up to make beer, and wake up the oats.
early bird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after the killing, they quickly realized that William had a screw loose, and they sent him off to the Asylum for the Criminally Insane at Broadmoor. Broadmoor is, I'm pretty sure most of, like, you know, I listen to this. Here we go. I'm not going to lie. I make fun of it a lot. But I listen to some true crime. And I'm pretty sure most of the English serial killers have gone to Broadmoor. That's like their crazy town.
Festering grounds.
Yeah.
That is, come milady, come milady.
Oh.
Excuse me, it's all over the walls here, because these people are insane. Crazy town.
Yeah, so Broadmoor was pretty much new at this point. I think it had been open for about a decade or less. And since William was very rich, he had come from a rich family. Obviously, he still had that money. He was getting the pension on top of that.
The fantastic U.S. pension.
And the thing about William also was that he was pretty well composed when he wasn't having a paranoid attack. So they gave him a special treatment. They actually gave him 2 cells. And they also gave him like 2 adjoining cells. And they gave him bookcases, and they allowed him to bring all of his books. They allowed him to bring all of his paints and easel. And he could even bring his flute. So he'd sit there playing his flute. It was pretty sweet. Most of the time he spent reading and jerking off because he loved to crank it. The warden said that this guy was always jerking off.
Wow. The warden said.
The warden was watching the entire time.
Yeah.
The guy next door, who is on his way to a full recovery, listening to a man play flute while tugging on a hot dog that had the texture of a rare sea turtle. All day, so he can hear it scraping, like here on the mic, like that. But it's crazier because he's whistling and he's reading books, and he thinks that Irishmen are there to watch his semen come at it. And he can never figure out which one's the real Irishman, because in England, he can't tell the difference. He's like one of those people from New England who doesn't know the difference between Chipotle and Taco Bell. Irish accent, English accent, they're all after me.
Jesus
So, all right, at this point, we're going to do some memento shit. We already did some memento. I started with the fucking murder.
I hate this.
Now we're going to memento again. So, we're going to pause on William Chester Minor for just a little bit. He's not going anywhere because he's stuck in this fucking asylum.
He's in jail, so put him in imagination jail as we take you to the next subject.
Right. So we are going to talk about a Scottish boy named James Murray. So James was born in 1837. He's only 3 years younger than William Minor. But he was not given the luxury of being born to a well-established family like William Minor was. But he did come from the same crazy sect of Christianity, the Congregationalists.
Lord.
Unlike William, he did not attend the top universities in England, like Oxford. He actually dropped out of school when he was 14. But James was very autodidactic. One of my favorite words, which means a self-learner.
Oh, okay.
I don't understand where the roots go. It haunts me.
So
Autodidactic?
Yeah.
Did you catch what Cody said about the meaning, Travis? I mean, Mike. Excuse me, Mike.
Yeah.
Did you hear what the definition was?
Oh yeah.
What?
Self-learner.
Okay, just making sure. I was gonna say if you didn't, I was gonna ask Mike to guess because I wouldn't get it either.
So James,
that sounds like something cars.
He guesses things very charmingly.
he does. He
Yeah,
kind of
he
gets
does.
it.
I
He
love
just
it. I like
gets
that.
it. Mike gets it.
It's a good part of the podcast in general.
Yeah.
It really is.
You guys
It's
are too much. You guys are so nice.
No,
Well,
when you're
it's-
not here, Mike, it's like where's Mike's explanations?
it's the reason that our download numbers are right up there with Freakonomics and Serial. It's the reason that we have this huge listenership.
Yeah. It's you.
So
I love it.
You guys are welcome.
Thank
So-
you. I don't know what we'd do without you.
You know what? Just
Autodidactic
Yeah,
was the word, Mike.
I'm gonna write that down. I mean, that's a good word to know.
It is. Here
Oh,
you go.
shit.
Write it down.
Autodidactic.
Write it down in my notebook. Okay,
Yeah,
Travis,
okay.
continue.
So James Murray was a lover of history and language. He especially liked dead languages, and he would often tag along on archaeological digs on Hadrian's Wall, which is the
Ooh.
border of Scotland and England.
Okay.
So James Murray's story is actually really inspiring. I'm not going to go into it because I'm not here to inspire you.
Great.
When is he ever?
But this is a man with a firm, erect penis for knowledge.
Okay.
Just
Nice.
fucking hard all the time. Whenever you learn something, fucking swing.
Got it.
It's cool learning new stuff. I can see that.
Cody and Mike are actually kind of that way as well. You could see it in their eyes when they learn something new.
Oh yeah, fist pound through the screen.
Pound
Yeah,
through the
thank you.
That's what that
interwebs.
is. That's
Scream.
what that is, Mike. Very
Also, I hate how that's fetishized even today.
What screens?
No, just you like to learn things. Are you learning the right things?
I hope you guys.
good.
I hope this.
Are you a
is learning the right thing.
sapiosexual, Mike?
Well, our
Sapiosexual.
listeners are learning the right things because they're here.
Well,
They're
they
learning
are,
about
but
peepees and
Travis,
skunks.
you know what? That's a tangent that I honestly don't want to follow up with. So why don't you cut me off now?
Okay. So, by James Murray's own drive, he was actually noticed by the academics of England and was eventually invited to Oxford for a very special project they had started almost a decade prior. What was this project? It was the Oxford English Dictionary.
Oh my.
Ooh.
This is one of the most impressive, comprehensive compendiums of every single word in the English language.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
Says them.
to us modern people, myself included, who can't spell without spell check, we kind of take the whole dictionary thing for granted, right? Like, I don't know.
Well, yes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, shit. Back then, there was like 3 books or some shit. There's a lot more books back then. I should take that back.
No, back to no. That's
could
a good
afford
point.
a lot
Well,
of
the
books.
average person had like a Bible,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that was kind of it. So you're right. There were more books written, but they weren't so like
Common.
willy nilly.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
dude, you know how many books I have that I just have?
How many?
A lot. Like most of them, I'm not even gonna read. Like I was like, I ordered them while drunk, and I was like, this is gonna look great on the shelf. I can't wait to read this.
Don't bend the
But
spine.
By the
Don't
time
bend
it comes
that
in
spine.
through the post, my hangover is in, so I'm not reading that book ever. And they
one
didn't
day
have
it's
that
gonna
option
blue
back then. That's
cover.
what I'm getting at. So you're right. There was a limited resource
Selection, yeah.
on literature
Well,
at the time.
Well, Mike, here we go. Like I just said the word autodidactic. How
Yeah.
you going to impress a girl with autodidactic if you can't spell it right?
It's true. They didn't
But
have
like,
computers
but back then they didn't have a computer. They had to look that shit up in the dictionary. Or
I remember doing that shit back in the day for spelling bees and shit. That shit was fucking
fucked
annoying.
up, right, Mike?
Huh?
That shit's fucked.
Yeah, I mean, shit. I mean, a lot of words in there.
Yep. Big
It's
old
tiny.
list.
You gotta like
Yeah, man.
find the one. You know, had a spelling bee and shit.
Very small print. Anyway,
so here is the true idiot of our roast: the English language itself. The rules are constantly broken. It's antiquated and somewhat arbitrary. Grammar is retarded.
Wow.
I use the R word because of how bad grammar is.
It really has them that wound up, folks.
There's silent letters, tons and tons of loan words that have no like English root to them, and words that have multiple meanings, like bear. Like, how many bears are there? It's a million bears.
Oh my God, he's the reason.
So the Oxford English Dictionary, or I'm going to refer to it as the OED, not only defined the word, but it gave a quotation of how the word was used and the etymology.
Etymology?
Yeah, he just said that.
That's right, the etymology.
No.
It's how you learn where the word came from. Hosting.
Like origin?
Look, I mean, Cody, why don't you, I'll mute Travis for the next 10 seconds, and why don't you tell us what he meant?
Etymology is like the way words sound.
Like adverbs?
It's the roots mashed together, what etymology means. So it's why, like, things with the prefix pyre, pyre, means like fire.
Oh, okay.
And,
it's also delicious.
And how like mono means one, duo means two, like trio means three. Yeah. It's like the whole science why things are named the way things are.
Now, Travis, I don't have a problem with you saying a word wrong. I don't have a problem with you getting the wrong word in there to begin with. But when you take those two things and put them together, because you said
it's good.
Etymology, so that's a play on cake. I get it. You're a big boy.
Yeah, it's
but
good.
then, but it's entomology, which would be the word you're bastardizing, is the study of bugs.
I wasn't gonna hit on him that hard, man.
Well, look, it's my job. I have to do this. And it's not
bugs and words are the same thing. If you look at a bunch of ants walking in a line, that's a sentence.
Okay. You got me there with my pants up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, Travis, I'm sorry. I wasn't there to beat you up. I was explaining why that was funnier to.
No, it just happened magnificently.
Maybe I should. I'll never explain anything again. Let's keep going.
So this episode, I hope everyone's keeping up. I'm going further down the rabbit hole. But don't worry, keep listening. If you're confused, it's all going to come together at the end.
All right.
I'm ready.
So.
Yeah?
I was waiting for Cody.
Oh.
No.
You got to finish the episode, Cody?
What? No.
Cody's just going to giggle away the rest of the episode like he's on PCP.
Yeah.
Which is fun.
All right.
A good drug. Try it.
It's good.
The Oxford English Dictionary, we just talked about it.
Yeah.
The Oxford English Dictionary is not the first dictionary.
Webster.
No. Webster is not the first dictionary.
Why not?
It wasn't. Webster and Oxford English Dictionary were not even the first English dictionaries.
Okay.
So let's give a little context of dictionarios. Now, we all know a few grammar Nazis, or two or three. And thanks to this episode, you can finally put them in their place, because before the 18th century, there was no such thing as grammar. And before the Oxford English Dictionary, there was no such thing as spelling. Spelling was like a shitty interpretive dance.
Well, okay. Okay, you're going to say, throw it all out the window because we did it better back then. Also, remember, we didn't have human rights at all back then. So let's just revert to that. Irregardless, and I will use that. I will use that tonight. I don't usually use that.
Fine.
Don't do it.
Throw it out the window. Before the year 500 BC, they didn't have vitamins, okay? It doesn't mean you shouldn't acknowledge it.
Okay, so we roasted William Shakespeare. Tom, you did that roast?
Yes.
That
who's false, not real.
Yeah, he might have not even been William Shakespeare. Might not have even been William Shakespeare.
He was just a pen and a mirror.
But that dude could not spell for shit. Back then, you just spelled words how they sounded. And the whole idea of slang and the grammar of slang and grammar, that you just wrote how you talk. Like, who cares?
And hopefully you could figure it out.
Well, you would, because that's how you talk.
Well, yeah, I mean, No, other
It
people
was
read
heavily
I guess.
phonetically based.
Yeah.
Right. There are languages in which the alphabet is phonetic, and there are no surprises.
Right.
And I can't think of one of them now, but I'm excited to see your angle on how Google is shaming us for using bad grammar.
So English, for centuries, English was looked at as like the common dirty language.
Oh.
It was like the language of the common folk. Romance languages were king. The nobility spoke French. They spoke the root language, Latin, and Italian. Those were like the big languages you'd use back then. German, which isn't a romance language, but yeah. So all of these languages had dictionaries. There was a right and wrong way to speak and write, although they were still primitive in comparison to the Oxford English Dictionary. But there was like rules, like this. There's masculine, feminine, right? Like in Romance languages and German.
Right. Big fight in Germany whether the appropriate wording was sausage father or sausage daddy.
So shortly after Shakespeare's death in the 17th century, a bunch of English blokes started to be like, hey, maybe we should write a dictionary. Because, I don't know, Shakespeare was good. We got a whole bunch of good writers. Maybe we should just, do this shit.
Yeah, why not?
I want to speak French.
Okay.
So these early dictionaries were more like dirty phrase books you'd buy at a Spencer's. Those things like, 7 dirty ways to say things in German.
Why is it going to be dirty?
Right.
What's the dirty thing?
You know what I mean? It's one of those things where it's like, did you know that this is a way that Spanish people say butthole?
Right. Or the ones with made up phrases that were supposed to be dirty, but as you try to use them in the real world, you realize that they weren't funny, and no one knew what they meant. So you were just a confused hormonal teenager, and with no help.
So these early dictionaries were short. They were only like a few hundred words.
Yeah.
And they were the hardest, or in quotes, choicest words of the English language.
Choice.
Meaning that they were fancy words that you could whip out during a banquet or something like that.
Oh, cool.
Right.
Like the SpongeBob sentence enhancer.
Yeah.
What was that?
Okay. It was a curse word, but Patrick mistook it for a sentence enhancer, so he spent the entire episode preloading curse words into everything he said.
That's fantastic. I never saw that episode.
That's a good one. They had the
Thanks,
fucking
Mike.
the what's it called sound effect, the dolphin
The
noise the whole
dolphin.
time.
Oh, great.
Squelching sound
Yeah.
effect.
So dictionaries like Thomas Wilson's Art of Rhetoric,
Oh, no.
which was mainly marketed to ladies. So when the men were using the big words like bulbicate and suvation, they could blurt out a word like commonatrix.
Oh, gross.
Yeah.
It's like Pavlovian
Dominatrix?
feedback.
Yeah, apparently that's like some type of maid. It looks like dominatrix, but it's something that, I don't know, probably boring. Like the maid that ties your shoes.
It's a subhuman that only opens cans for you.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Most of these definitions were just one word definitions too. Like it was like bakalaka means tree.
Well, you didn't,
You know what I mean?
you didn't write down a simple example.
No,
Thanks.
I did not.
Bakalaka.
Dude, I know English. Don't worry about it.
You did pretty well. I mean, you and I really have we have about the same understanding of the English language. I'm just not as liberal with it as you are.
What language?
You have more fun than I do.
Dude,
Yeah, that's
language
right.
is like jazz. It's free flowing, you know?
Yeah,
Freeform jazz, I like
except
that.
all the jazz musicians, the greats, are in mental hospitals.
Stuttering.
They didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't get to print their vinyls like Miles Davis. They got to eat a mattress every night and dream of the outside.
So also
God
in in these early dictionaries, they just left you guessing on what type of word it was. It could be a verb, it could be a noun, could be an adjective. We don't know. There's
Mad
no
Libs.
quote or anything. Like
No sentence.
It's like that's the word.
That's the word.
Take it for what it is.
How do I use that word? You say it, idiot.
Loudly and then
So-
louder until no one else is talking.
Till someone's
People-
impressed.
Yeah,
Yep.
people started to get a little bit pissed off about this because there was no rhyme or reason to their language. And one English lexicographer said, and this is a quote, "We have neither grammar nor dictionary, neither chart nor compass to guide us through the wide sea of words."
Every day I walk outside and it's idiots opening their mouth, doing nameable and tornables over here and yond. What is happening?
Oh my god.
That would be a fun world to live in to an extent. Forms
shit,
would be a
Tom.
nightmare. But I think that's a new problem that we decided to make after we figured out English too much. So maybe
Yeah.
those wouldn't collide.
So in the 17th century, along walks big dick granddaddy of the English dictionary, Samuel Johnson.
Wow.
Yeah, double dick right there. He's got a Johnson, he's got a big dick for English. He published a dictionary of the English language.
Yeah, okay.
Now, Samuel ended up creating definitions and along with grammar, like how it's supposed to be used, for 43,500 words in a 2-volume dictionary.
Yeah.
Okay, he's
What
trying.
everyone wanted.
He's trying.
Sam was good. His definitions were very thorough, almost like paragraphs long. What's wrong?
It's just nothing. I feel like you're reading a book that Sam wrote, perhaps the forward of a dictionary. But continue.
So,
Sam is good.
Sam is good. See Sam run.
Shit.
Dude, I've been busy. I'm working on a big boy. This is yeah.
You're doing
feel
great.
you. You're doing a good job.
Every word you've said, except for
I
a
feel
few,
you.
are,
Sam is good.
are real words.
Oh, what was
See
that
Sam
word
run.
before? Autodidactic.
Didactic.
Autodidactic, yeah.
Etymology.
So, oftentimes his definitions were very long, like a paragraph long. Of like he went into how an elephant fucked. Like he described an elephant, and it was like an elephant lays on its back and then gets fucking sexted
Really?
That's what
by a
elephants
man.
do.
Which is a lot of detail for being totally inaccurate.
Yeah, right? That is
I don't
a
know.
lot
I've
of
never seen an
information.
elephant fuck.
Yeah.
Do they?
Well,
Have you ever? It's elephant style.
doggy.
It's like doggy, except you put your hands behind you and walk up and start making spraying noises with your mouth.
So this is something we would never
Gross.
say, but in Samuel Johnson's dictionary, he gets a little bit salty about the definition of patron, because he did have a patron that was
Oh.
financing his works. He said it was a wretch who supports indolence and paid with flattery.
All right. We have a Patreon that we
Sure.
get paid by our patrons who listen to the show. They give us money, so I would have to disagree with that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
not
like those people.
wretches.
No.
We
No, they're
actually
good.
did have one wretch of a Patreon, and I kicked him off.
Really?
I said, "Good riddance, Larry,
Yeah.
Letterman."
Yeah.
Larry
Oh,
Letterman.
motherfucker.
Yeah,
Fuck
I
that
kicked him
guy.
off. I
Fuck
forgot his
him.
name for a second, but yeah, he was a wretch. So no wretches on patreon.com/roastmortemcast.
Yeah.
Buy us pencils.
Please.
All right,
We'll
so
twist your dick.
that's the dictionary kind of in a nutshell up until the 19th century. So fast forward to 1857, Guy Fawkes Day in England.
Whoa.
A bunch of really smart Oxford guys get together and they're like, dude, we need to make a dictionary of the English language that's going to have every word. It's going to have the definition. It's going to have quotes. It's going to have the etymology. It's going to have all of these things for every
Yeah.
word in the English dictionary.
It's
Great.
too much.
And these smarty boys, they were like, you know what we're going to call this dictionary? We're from Oxford. We're going to call it the Big Dictionary.
Wow. Big dictionary.
A lot of words in the big dictionary.
Yeah.
Easier to print, right? Less words.
Well, I'm not sure if that's I'm not sure if all those words were real. Why don't you go check with Big Dick?
Yeah.
Is he in?
You know it. I'm rich. I have several copies of Big Dick lying around the house. I leave them on the bed. I let them in my bedroom for my wife to read. Several copies of Big Dick at once.
Wow. That's very progressive of you, Tom.
I'm from Oxford. I'm a big fan of Ben Shapiro. I don't get jokes.
There's whores in this house.
Jesus Christ.
So by the time you guys remember James Murray, I told you about him, our Scottish boy, nerd boy. So by the time James Murray got involved in this Big Dictionary project, it had already been in the works for 20 years.
Sheesh.
And by the time he took over the project, it looked like it was never going to get done. They were like, there's too many words. People say too many things. We can't put it all in one book. There's a lot of words that people
I relate
say.
so hard. Like, one of the idiots could make a new word while we're making this dictionary, and then we'd be fucked.
That's probably what was happening.
Yeah, a bunch of guys going out after wording all day. They go to the bar. They go, let me get a couple pints. And then there's these idiots saying words that they've never heard before. English, though, because the context all makes sense. Yeah. We're not lost here. We're just we're baffled. Okay, we're baffled. So we're asking the bartender, write it down. He loses the napkin. You're up all night the next night trying to figure out what those fucking words were that these low-life Irish were saying.
That stressed me out.
So James, one of the things James actually did was he put a cutoff. He's like, we're not going to do any more words after this date.
I like that.
No more words. We need to get
words can be invented after this.
Right. They did different editions. This is jumping forward a little bit. There's another edition of the Oxford Dictionary in 1970. But the original Oxford Dictionary was like, these are all of our words. Anything published after this is not word.
Right. So next time someone tells you ain't is not a real word, you call the police and tell them that they haven't been social distanced properly so they can be ticketed to hell.
But how does somebody get all the words?
Yeah,
That's a lot of words, you know.
Just giving them the information.
Right?
Bunch words.
You know, I mean, how many words can you think of? Probably 100?
10?
Yeah, 10.
Yeah, I probably speak a few hundred unique words every day, but if you put a piece of paper in front of me, it's going to be 17, somewhere around there. That's what I'm going to come up with. I'm not good under pressure, is what I'm getting at. My relationship with words is iffy. If you notice, I can't stop talking right now. Case in point.
Yeah,
that's fine.
So how do you get all these words? Unpaid nerds.
Oh, yeah, right.
James and his team were responsible for coming up with the definitions and the etymology of it. That's bugs, right? Which one did I get right?
Etymology. But it's
etymology.
Fine. Yeah. So they were responsible for coming up with the definitions and the origin of the word, but the quotations of the words, like how it was pulled out of in context, right? That was outsourced to people throughout the British Empire and America.
Okay, because that one needs to be right.
Yeah, so basically they put out a whole bunch of flyers and handed out bookmarks to local book dealers, asking people if they wanted to find quotations and big words, interesting words, for their big dictionary.
Oh.
Ooh,
right.
Big dictionary energy.
I'm sure that had a lot of callbacks. Not as many callbacks as kids auditioning to be the Oscar Mayer Wiener kid, but definitely a lot of callbacks.
Well, it did. But so if some idiot wanted to work on the project, James and his team in Oxford would send them out a loaner book and tell them to write down all of the interesting words and the quotations for the said words and send them back to him in Oxford. So here's the problem. Here's where I can be like, grammar, spelling Nazis, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you look at what I told you before, that people in Old English, like, or in the 16th and 17th century, were just basically coming up with how to spell a word and like how grammar is supposed to use. Like, there was no rules back then. So, like, just because you saw a word that Shakespeare wrote doesn't mean that that has anything to do with how it's supposed to be said or written.
Yeah, who gives it the meaning?
Right. But anyway, he did this thing, and tens of millions of letters came back to Oxford. That's how many people were interested. Millions.
Wow.
This is in a time when millions didn't even exist. This is the 19th century.
Right, but people are doing multiple submissions. I bet you there's a lot of housewives who didn't really get the rules of the game and were just like submitting their kids' names.
Yeah.
Like, I want my kid to be in a book.
And their potential grandchildren.
Right, exactly. Like, I'm sorry, Arthur is not going to be in the book. He's just not. I don't care that Arthur is defined as a beautiful blonde baby.
So there's a whole system that they use for sorting all of these things, and I'm not going to get into that shit because who the fuck cares? It's boring. So at some point during the 1880s, James receives a new volunteer, a Dr. William Chester Minor.
Oh.
Who conveniently put his address as Broadmoor Cawthorne Berks, leaving out the whole asylum thing. He's like, oh, this is where, like, you know, back then this is when mail could just be delivered to a town and they'd figure out who it goes to.
Right. Because it was only like 6 or 7 people that could read. And no one sent money back then.
Yeah.
Because no one had money back then.
So they had no clue that William Minor had been living in an asylum for about 15 years at this point.
Oh.
Jerking off violently every day.
No background checks.
Right.
So, I don't know. What is this word? I'm talking about words. I don't even know what words I wrote here.
Yeah, we're really flying right now. The story is cruising. Woo!
I would say, like, doesn't he, like, come off as deranged a little bit or, like, weird?
Okay, so perfect. Mike, segue without even knowing you did a segue.
Oh, nice.
Hell yeah.
I was going to talk
Yeah.
about where William Minor was in terms of, like, you know, being a regular person.
Yeah.
So he was in fairly sound mind during the day. He was like a regular guy during the day. But at night, that's when his madness really shone through.
He's a sundowner.
Yeah. So every time the sun would go down, he would talk about how small boys were up in the rafters, and when he fell asleep, they would chloroform him and force him to do indecent acts to either the boys or the women of his dreams.
Well, that's just kind of telling a story. That's not really a complaint.
Wait.
That's just like, this is how I live my life. I'm a crazy person, and whoever gets in my cell and is asking to get fucked, then I'm going to do it.
He would barricade the doors with his furniture that he was allowed to have for whatever reason every night to keep out invaders.
Those Irish people.
Yeah.
But that didn't
They
even...
weren't small boys. They were leprechauns. They were actually a bunch of Warwick Davises with
They were stout.
prosthetic faces.
They were stout.
Yeah, look at these charms. And they're not lucky, but they do go pretty deep inside of you.
But that didn't even fiend off the crazies, because ninjas, or some fucking crazy-ass shit, would sneak a funnel through the bars of his window and pour poison down his throat at night.
Damn.
Ooh.
It's not very good poison. So my mom used to call Kool-Aid poison, and that's not a Jonestown reference. She just didn't like sugar and red dye number 5.
Red 40.
Other times, these boys would enter his cell and drill into his spine to harvest the marrow out of it.
Whoa.
This is cool.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunate, but still interesting.
Also, one of the furthest out things was that he would be hooked up to some machine, because this guy read all the time. Like, electricity is being, like, invented, so he's reading about electricity and, like, all this shit. So he was hooked up to a machine and zapped with electrical currents,
Shock
where
therapy.
until he blacked out, where he was taken to Constantinople, where he said they tried to make me a pimp.
It tries to make you a pimp after being zapped in the face a bunch.
They're giving shock therapy there?
No, there was no shock therapy.
Oh, it was all made
He
up
was
in
just
his
making
head?
this up and saying I was blacked out and turned into a fucking whore. Because he used pimp in like a old-fashioned-y way.
Oh wait, he was whored out. He was
whored out, but yeah, he was being
okay.
pimped.
You know, if someone's trying to make you into the pimp and you can't do it, maybe you're just a John, sir.
Wow.
But yeah,
So-
I mean, I would hate to wake up in Constantinople with some black bush deep inside of me. That would suck.
That
Yeah.
sounds like my wet dreams. So, in 1879, after writing a letter to Elsa Merritt, which was George Merritt's widow, the two eventually agreed to meet. So, the guy that he killed, his wife, he was like, let's meet up. He had been paying her money ever since he had killed. He felt bad that he killed her husband. Like, he thought it was a dirty Irishman.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. This adds
So-
up.
Yeah, so he had felt bad. He had been paying money to her the entire time. And the two became friendly. Possibly extra friendly. Like
Oh, he pulled a
touching
robbery.
pee-pees friendly.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, we all know that there's a truth of what marriage used to be, which had nothing to do with love. It was financial stability and perhaps a little,
Touching pee-pee.
and some hard cock from time to time. But
Yeah.
if she's over it, because he smells like stinky beer every time he's home, he's like, I'm home from Oat, then the money is more than satisfactory, a substitute than any relationship that she's ever been in.
Right, so this is not confirmed, but there are rumors that the two, when they were left alone, because apparently these guards were like, I don't know, this William Minor guy is fine. They can be left alone. We're
Right.
banging it out.
He's got that wine
And
dick.
what's that?
Doesn't he have that wine dick? He was like shooting wine into his dick because he had like gonorrhea.
Dude, he's
Yeah.
got
He
gonorrhea.
got
So
a shit ton of stuff. Ugh.
yeah, he's got all of it. She's
Yeah,
got
you're-
all of it too.
Have you ever taken out frozen mozzarella sticks?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, before you do anything, when you just take out of the bag, that's his cock.
Ew.
Okay, it's small, but it's very firm,
Spongy.
and it's
Spongy.
it's like a 200 grit. Okay, you could sand down a deck with it.
Oh, okay.
So Elsa, after her husband's death, became a raging alcoholic,
Well,
which, you know, that's sad. But every time she would visit William at his cell, she would be paid a little extra from William for her visit. She also delivered books to him that he had ordered from London. And in one of those books was a flyer from James Murray for his big-ass dictionary.
Whoa.
huh.
So with all
So-
this, with all these books in his cell and endless free time, William sent over thousands of quotations and words to William Murray at Oxford. Now,
Okay.
this crazy man became the #1 contributor of quotes to the OED. And James Murray had no clue for almost a decade that he had been locked up in the loony bin.
Oh shit.
That it doesn't mean that he's not qualified for the job. I have no problem with this. The man is reading out of a book and going, "Hey, that's an interesting word. I think I'll send it to my
Yes.
friend over in Oxford with his big dick."
Yeah, but think about how crusty those pages must have been.
Yeah, right. Oh.
This
This guy's
guy,
jerking off the entire time. He's like autodidactic. Oh my god.
Wow.
I still don't think that matters that much. You know,
Really?
dude. Okay, so if I had a winning lottery ticket, okay,
Right.
maybe it's only $200. It's not even that much money, and there was
Okay.
semen all over it, but dry. And I gave it to you. What are you gonna do?
But dry. What if it was wet?
But yeah.
I'm assuming dry. I'm trying to make a fair comparison because it's coming through the mail.
Put it in a bag.
It's getting ponied over there.
No, but what if it was fresh though?
Fresh. Well,
Oh wow. Fresh is a different story. I'd be like, yo.
you could skip the $200.
I'd be like,
like
put,
you
gotta
would
put it in a
be
bag.
like, yo,
Put it in the
what?
bag.
You put it like a little
But
Ziploc
you
bag.
wouldn't discard it. Is my point. This guy isn't discarding a semeny quotation. Okay,
You're right.
He's
So
probably needs it. He's probably needing fucking words.
He needs that semen.
Well,
Well, yeah, he probably doesn't know it has semen.
So Tom, I don't
Probably
want to feed your ego, Tom, but you're right. A lot of people think that if this crazy guy was not locked up for killing someone, the the Oxford English Dictionary would have never been completed.
Right.
With all the quotes.
And the non-Irish beer maker, that's how he's remembered in history. The best guy for a book ever.
Wow.
Thank God that fucker's dead, because now we know how to use the word shanked. Okay?
And autodidactic.
Autodidactic. Now he was
Mike.
he wasn't out there
Mike.
self-learning. He was getting shot by assistants so we could have this miracle of literature right in front of us.
So the whole team was shocked by Dr. Miner's diligence, the volume of words that he was giving, and his attention to detail in all of
Holy
his definitions. They're like, how does this guy do it? Who is this guy? We don't even know. He just comes from Surrey, down that's where Broadmoor was, in Surrey. They're like, I don't know, this is a fucking doctor in Surrey. He must be retired. He just has a lot of time on his hands.
He does crosswords.
Yeah.
He sent me a crusty sock once. He must have hobbies.
Yeah, no.
Ooh.
In reality, this was a man screaming about having sex with little boys every night. But, whatever.
All right.
Wow.
It's pretty fucked.
I mean, how many presidents have we had that have sex with little boys every night? At least 30.
Yeah,
30 to
true.
40
Wow.
presidents of ours have probably had sex with minors every night. So what's the difference here? I'm not seeing a crime.
So there's some myth about it came. Sorry. So much Bud Light seltzer, dude. So there's a myth about how James and William first met. Apparently, it was written about 50 years after they had met, and some guy romanticized it. But it was somehow out of a movie, right? James shows up to Broadmoor, and he, is picked up by a carriage and driven to the asylum, where he's like, "Oh, this guy must be the warden writing all these quotations." Nope, it's a crazy guy. You know what I mean? Who is this dude? But apparently all that shit's bullshit. But the reality of it is kind of more funny. So, a fellow academic from Surrey, which is where Broadmoor is, had stopped by James's scriptorium, which is what he called his room that he was making this big dictionary in.
That is interesting, because I'm buying a house eventually, and I was going to make a room called the scriptorium, in which the primary focus would be masturbation, furious masturbation.
Wait.
So that
It's
it's
a
a
scriptorium, though.
small world. I'm glad we can put this down in a book.
That's a new word.
Scriptorium.
Apparently, as Cody, you asked why is it called a scriptorium? Apparently, that has to do with it was where the monks transcribed Latin. There was a word in in a monastery. They have the scriptorium where you draw all the penis birds and shit and illuminations, shit like that.
Right. Very secret stuff.
Yeah. So apparently, some academic from Broadmoor showed up, and it came up in conversation that this fairly anonymous volunteer, this guy, Dr. Miner, had been writing all these quotes. And they were talking. He's like, "Oh, this guy, Dr. Miner, he's fucking knocking it out of the park, dude." And the visitor was like, "Oh, how kind you have been to our poor Dr. Miner." And James was like, "Poor? What do you mean?" It's just and then the Seinfeld theme starts.
What?
Yeah, no. So he's just wait, what do you mean this guy's poor? He's a fucking genius. And the dude's he's locked up in the fucking insane asylum, bro.
Whoops.
Wow.
He's crazy.
You go see him. He's going to have his dick off. He's ripped
weird.
it off.
Oh.
When I say his dick's off, that just happened last week. You're in great timing. You ripped it right off his body. It's been too many years of scriptorianism.
It's just picturing a crumpled up stick.
Yeah. It's on the ground. Don't kick it. He uses it as a doorstop, but also a nice doorstop.
Paperweight too.
So
words down.
Yeah.
Woof.
So the two of them met, and it's kind of funny because both of them looked exactly the same. They both had long gray beards, kind of like Gandalf. They're both nerds. They like to talk about weird, strange words. Okay. And they became friends.
How are you gonna okay that, not call him out?
What?
He just like set up like a weird Disney movie thing, and then they became friends.
Yeah, no, they were buds.
Right, fine.
They were buddies. They were like, yeah, I'll come visit you. Like, apparently, Dr. Miner knew James's wife and probably jerked off to her, but like that didn't come up in conversation.
Here's
small town shit.
Yeah. Here's the thing: no visitors at night.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That's when he loses his mind and starts screwing barrels. That for some reason you said they left in his room where they had rice and child's food. Back then, that was where they stored it with the prisoners to keep it cool.
So they became friends, but James Murray made a crucial mistake, and that was reintroducing William Miner to his Congregationalist roots. Oh. The church that he had shamed him for all that furious masturbation. You know? I mean, give this guy a fucking fleshlight, man.
Little one.
Just, yeah. Well, I'm confused because he's locked up. So what harm can he do, Travis? Tell me.
What harm can he do? Well, so, William over time had become a bit of an atheist, or maybe an agnostic. He had, I don't know, I feel like most insane people that are white dive into like Indian religions and shit. He was all about
yoga.
He was all about, a lot of his definitions in the Oxford Dictionary were Indian origin. So
that makes sense.
Yeah. So he had become like an atheist or an agnostic. He didn't care about God anymore. And there was I feel like the sense of shame kind of left him a little bit. The whole shame that he had been put on him from a young boy.
Yeah.
But when he was reintroduced to God, that happy jerking off in his cell, playing flute, looking up weird words, like that, all that shame came back. And these fantasies, also his fantasies of being abducted and forced to fuck people, that conflicted with his fear of God.
Okay. He's still in a cell, though, so we're all safe, right?
Still in a cell. Yeah, he's still in a cell.
All right.
Yeah,
that's what matters.
But his paranoia was cranked up to 11.
Wow.
So as I said, all the craziness happens at night, right? He's pretty normal during the day. He's, he's seeing James Murray, but he's okay.
Right. Would you say he's pleasant?
Yeah, he's a pleasant guy to be around during the day.
Okay, pleasant during the day. Ferocious masturbation, paranoid schizophrenic events at night. Like a werewolf, but only without the moon, because the moon is fake. Everyone
you can't
knows
even
that.
see the moon.
Yeah, jeez.
Right? Yeah, he's not getting that old Mickey Mouse cartoon where he gets the Jack and the Beanstalk and the moon comes in and dances as a plant all the way up and ruins his erection into hell. It's just blasting it into the ground, taking roots, erection, hell. It's there. It's biblical. Come on.
So as you said, Tom, after a night of furious masturbation, he wakes up one morning, just cum everywhere, all over his books, all over his notes. He just fucking can't. He is God shaming all night long. And he thought back on the thousands of nude women he had slept with in his mind, and recalled the French horrors that called him bien fat. And
what does that mean?
Being fucked?
Yeah, being fuck. And he also hung on like the fact that his mind mistress, had called him an apostle of pleasure. He's like, dude, I'm a fucking sinner, man. I can't do this.
I've got a stage name.
An apostle of pleasure?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a nice title.
He was like, I have to stop beating my meat. God is always watching me.
I thought the apostle of pleasure was Thomas, because he's the one who fucked Jesus' stigmata hands. He was just like, I need to get in those holes, so I know you're here, okay? Wink, wink. Let's have a good time.
There's no There's no microwaves. Yeah. You got to get it in before it's warm, while it's still warm.
Right, I got to see if this is. Are we really doing this, Jesus? As they're stripping down, they're all shaving in one of the Jerusalem holes that they used to have sex in. They're getting ready to go run a train on Jesus Christ getting saved.
Yeah, so he's like, God's always watching. I know Jesus fucked so many whores, but he was God. He could fuck all the whores.
Yeah.
So William took a string. He tied it around the base of his shaft. Then, with a pocket knife that he was allowed to have because he was deemed not suicidal.
Wait,
With one clean stroke, he chopped his dick off and threw it into the fireplace.
Holy shit. Oh.
The warranty is up.
That probably hurt so bad.
All right, well.
Why?
Oh.
That much sin? I'd be like, fuck it. I guess it is what it is.
Can't jerk
more
off if
jokes
you don't
in
have a
this
dick.
episode. Yeah.
Wow.
Damn.
After his dick was nothing but an ember in the fireplace, he found a guard and said, "You had better send me to the medical officer at once. I have injured myself."
How do you pee?
I
Right? Yeah. Your ass or some shit.
I would hope so. If someone cut off my cock, I want it all out of one hole.
Wait, someone?
Yeah.
You mean you cut off your own cock?
If I chop my own cock off, I would opt for the extra stroke and make my own cloaca.
Yeah, make it look pretty.
Yeah, so cloacas are what birds have, and shit and piss come out of them.
Oh.
They have a combined piss hole and butthole.
That's convenient.
It's very convenient.
Piss, shit, and birth hole.
Right. So back to a human man who cut his penis off with a string around, a bit of Doc Martin shoelace around there. We are in England.
Yep.
All right.
Oh, God.
So shortly after William became Stumpy Willie, James probably out of like feeling sorry for this dude because now he's got a piss stump. James petitioned the government to get William moved back to his home country, America.
Oh.
Freedom.
Okay.
Get Stumpy back.
Back to New England.
Yeah, we need that guy.
Yeah, why not? Come on over.
Yeah. Come on over here.
on
We don't
over.
have
Come
any
on,
money.
Stump.
Yeah, he had been in Broadmoor for almost 30 years at this point.
Sheesh.
Living in his little attached cell, reading books and jerking off.
Since
up
the
until
early 1900s
recently.
now, right?
It's right now we're at the turn of the century.
Yeah.
So like 1890 to 1900-ish.
Yeah, somewhere around there. So, actually, James Murray talked to a young Winston Churchill, who was half American himself, and he had really played off of Winston Churchill's love for the American strong military culture, and he let this vet, William Minor, return back to America in the custody of William's brother, Alfred Minor.
Oh.
Where was he the whole time?
There was
hanging
actually
out.
something where I saw, so he was in, I didn't put this in the script, but he was in the asylum, and his stepmother that I mentioned way in the beginning of the script was traveling back from Sri Lanka to America and just didn't see him. He was like, how the fuck this dude?
Well, that's your stepmother, you know.
Wow,
Stepmothers, they're in a difficult place because they don't care about you. They shouldn't. They have to pretend. And then if you get horny around each other, you have to have sex. That's what the internet tells me.
Yeah.
State mandated.
Yeah, don't let your father find out. That's what they say.
Well, no, Alfred probably was jerking off in New England because that runs in the family. You like jerking off, you know. It's probably your whole family.
It's fine.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't think anyone should think about that ever.
But anyway, William was back in America. He was placed into another asylum, and where he lived out most of his days until Alfred was like, "Yo, can we just put this guy in like a vet assisted living in New Haven?" And and America agreed, or whatever. The asylum,
agreed.
America
Powers that
agreed.
be.
Uncle Sam signed a check. He stroked his white beard and
Yes.
he took off his Stars and Stripes blazer that he had made at what is that place? I keep forgetting. The place where you can get a lot of Americans.
Men's Warehouse.
Men's Warehouse. That's it.
Men's
You're gonna
Warehouse.
you're gonna like how patriotic you look. I guarantee it. So he takes off his blazer. He signs a check. He goes, "Here you go, dickless. Spend time with the rest of the cowards."
So if someone wants me ask me the question/questions, because I have a bunch of wrap up deaths and fucking shit going on.
Mike, why don't you MC this?
How's this boy die?
So neither James Murray, our Scottish boy, and William Chester Minor, our subject, would ever see the completion of the Oxford English Dictionary, which took 70 years to complete the first edition.
Well,
right. It was right. It was right after Beyonce's entry of Bootylicious, which for some reason we entertain ourselves with while children are dying in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
That's just Bush era silliness, though.
So James Murray died in 1915 at the age of 75 from pleurisy, caused by some prostate issue, and they fried him with a bunch of x-rays before they knew that x-rays weren't good for the body, and then he died of like lung problems.
Oh man, just imagine just sucking like an 8-minute x-ray.
Oh, yeah, it probably sucks.
Just like, the doctor's like, this is probably fine.
And our boy, William Chester Minor, died of bronchopneumonia in 1920 at the age of 85, penisless.
Damn.
Yeah.
Useless.
Without a dick.
It's a long time without a
Do
dick.
they take a chunk out of your headstone? Like a bite mark? Like if you die
Crap.
without a dick?
I don't know.
This guy
Or it's the
almost did it.
smallest asterisk underneath your name. Just,
Right.
oh, by the way, died without a dick.
Most of them's here.
You can visit his gravesite in New Haven. I believe his tomb's in New Haven if you want to see a creepy ghost with no penis.
Right.
Still thinking about that. It probably hurt. That is so insane. You think he was hard or soft?
Yeah,
Well, you're tying it off, right?
it's
Like, isn't that the
Well,
whole?
it's gotta be
isn't that the
hard,
whole,
right?
Like, yeah, that's like the whole like rubber band around your balls and dick. Like,
Okay.
the blood is trapped. So he was fucking hard, dude.
Oh,
Well, you could do that without being hard. You just strap it up.
I think he was hard, dude. He was probably hard most of the time.
You think everyone's hard all the time, which is
probably
something I do admire about you because I wish I had that optimism.
Dude, I think all the clits are hard. I think all the penises are always hard.
you think he nutted when he chopped his dick off, and that was like the last nut ever?
What Cannibal Corpse album are you listening to?
Oh, maybe that was a secret thing. It was like, this is it. This is like my last demon
secret.
secret
Well,
I gotta do.
Mike, it was probably cum and also pus.
Yeah.
The healing fluid of pus.
It's
Because
probably like
he had
good and bad
gonorrhea.
feelings.
So.
Oh, ow, yes.
Oh, yes, in the words of Mike.
So this isn't a death date. This is a birth date. But the Oxford English Dictionary, 7 years after William Chester Minor died, in 1927 on New Year's Eve, was completed.
Wow, those guys really didn't know how to party.
I got a book that has a lot of words in it. Happy New Year.
Dude, it's going to take us years to get these printed anyway. Why are you rushing? Have a beer. No! I have to finish the book so history knows it was done in this year.
Well, they're trying to hit that round 70. You know what I mean? It started in 1957 or 1857.
71's a beautiful number. It's a great number. What is wrong with these people? Go out and have a drink with your friends. Go to Buffalo Wild Wings. They're not shut down due to quarantine yet.
Really?
Take advantage of that.
Well,
dude, that's because they cough on every wing, which is like the vaccination, which is what we're all aiming for.
I've never seen you complain about that. So, well, let's be honest. Is that bad?
Nope.
Thank you.
nope.
All right, and that's the story of William Chester Minor and also James Murray, and the story of the English language, pretty much.
My dick
Fuck
hurts,
me.
Travis.
Yeah, so most of those quotes in, they still use the Oxford English Dictionary in like lawyer shit and like I don't know, book reports and stuff. I don't know. I never went to college.
I'm a Webster Merriam fan myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, that's a real good one. They have all the words.
In the book that I read, they never brought up Webster. I was kind of, I don't know what the deal is with that.
There's a movie about the young Webster that my mom made me watch, trying to inspire me to become literate. I did not. I don't remember a lot about it, except that a man was writing a book at night with the. He looked like Tim Allen, but it wasn't Tim Allen.
That is why, for the most of your life, you have made money making music, which you don't need to use words for.
That's true.
It just sounds. It's
Right. Webster's a man.
Right. So speaking of dictionaries, Webster's a man. We're gonna wrap this episode up now, as we do. So, firstly, a shout out to Sean Beaurain.
Yes.
Yeah.
Our executive producer. And if you look his name up in the dictionary, you will see a hot, intelligent man.
Generous, too.
Right. And if you're a Patreon member and you look yourself up in the dictionary, you're going to see someone who's pretty cool as well.
Oh.
If you're not a patron of this show and you look yourself up in the dictionary, you will see a schmuck. Okay?
Wow.
You will see
the definition of patron written by Samuel Johnson.
Right.
Which is a wretch.
Right.
Wow.
So become a wretch. Don't be a schmuck. Okay? Give us your money.
Please.
Mike's been forking it over for a while. He doesn't understand how it works.
I'm paying into this.
He's paying into it. It's not a 401k. I've been buying Burger King
Travis
with your
Scott
money.
burgers. You've been buying those Astro burgers, Tom?
Wait, is roast mortem a pyramid scheme?
Always.
Well, it kind of sounds like now that I'm thinking about it, Tom. It's kind of fucked up.
We just talked about a man who removed his own penis because he thought he was molesting children at night. And it turns out that he just murdered a guy.
By accident.
Who's more fucked up?
Oh, by accident.
By accident, right. I thought he was a dirty Irishman, like my cousin Mike.
This fucker's got to go.
Yeah. In all seriousness, we love you. Thank you for listening to the show.
Yes.
Do you guys have any other words? I'm going to shut up. You guys take it out.
Sorry, won't be on the next episode. My organs are going to be turned into a living representation of Civil War surgery.
Don't cut
For
your
a
dick
second.
off.
No one's going to see it except for the surgeon.
Not the dick organ, correct?
No, the dick organ, I think that's still going to be all right. I don't know. If you want to see it, you could text me or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Might be good.
Might be good. I hope
Might
you have
be
your.
good.
Let's check it out.
I hope you have pictures of your younger dick, the one that was more vibrant.
Yeah.
Now that
the one
you're in your
green.
30s, it's weepy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a hyper peach.
It's a weeping willow. That's what I got tattooed on it.
Right. It's
called
still
the Weeping
functional,
Willow.
but it is sad.
It's tired.
Yes, it's sad, but it kind of reads like a sympathy card.
Yes. Yeah. Like with a sad dog on it.
Right.
I'm sorry to inform you.
Oh, no.
You're looking at this right now. The apology and the offense are in one foul move.
Yeah. Thank you, Shane, guys.
Thank you, Shane. Thank you for listening.
Hey, don't chop your dick off. Yeah, keep that shit.
Keep it on.
Keep it
Keep
on.
it on.
Keep your dick, keep your clit.com.
Yep.
Or not.
We should make that our website.
Probably get a lot of traffic.
Yeah.
We from wrong places, but whatever.
I think from the right place and the right time period, which is now. There's no better time than now.
Exactly.
See you later.
Sorry.
Dude, all right, before
Bye.
we go, Cody is on Rhino 69 right now, so CBD.
No,
Yeah,
Dude.
it
Yeah.
is.
No,
Cody's dick is also sad. It's not just Travis. Bye.
Bye.
Hell yeah.
I used to be thinking that shit. Like, damn, it's like people are watching, like fucking ancestors are watching me. Some shit.
Oh, with the masturbation.
Yeah,
not
but
not so much the cutting penis off.
no,
No,
like some like religious shit. I was like, oh fuck it.
They forgive you.
Yeah, I think it was. It's not hurt on.
If there's something out there like ancestors, grandfathers, and
Like spirits watching you.
yeah, watching you, and you are masturbating.
Yeah.
I think that there are some other things that they would also be able to see that would bother them a lot more.
Oh, is that a
That's
new
true.
piercing?
Well, maybe not so much with yourself. Like they're not going to focus on you masturbating when they're also able to see through walls and have some omniscience and like, oh, I found an adult man
Here's Michael
strangling children and putting them in a dumpster. Like that's probably
more intense.
they'll probably be like, all right, my relative touching himself with butter or whatever condiment you use.
I can't believe it's not butter.
Yeah. Wow. It's just fucking. Travis did quite the wind up on what books are, and then just dropped that on us.
Books.
Yeah, that must really fucking hurt. Like, what do you do afterwards? Like, just spewing blood out of your fucking.
Yeah, I guess that's why he tied it off. But then again, it has its stay.
It's obviously it's got to be like
it's gonna.
Well, the thing I'm all confused over is did he have an erection when he chopped it off? Because if it was just a limp dick, like,
just imagine.
How's that work?
Like stub dick.
I'm just upset right now.
It's a bad image in my head.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna look at these titties.
Yeah, I'm looking at those.
Yeah, tits are cool.
Looks good. It's that mustard.
Yeah, it looks like her mustard is a little bigger than her ketchup.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's a nice rack.
It's a great rack.
A+ rack.
You ever look at a big rack like that and you're like, with the nipples are hidden and you're like, it kind of looks like a butt.
It does now. I'm looking at it like that.
Yeah, imagine a little poop coming out of the middle.
Yeah, that's kind of fucked up now. I'm looking at it.
Kind of gross. Yeah,
like Hank Hill's ass. Now
yeah,
I'm looking at it.
No, that's a very generous Hank Hill's ass.
A little flat from my angle.
Yeah.
Now, if you're looking at the tits being crushed in,
yeah, true.
That's a nice ass.
That's like a guy sitting on two lacrosse sticks for balance, though. Not not in his ass, but.
Oh God.
And like a couple poles, maybe a guy working for PSEG.
Oh yeah, what is that?
Installing some kind of fence.
Oh, shout out to that guy making bank.
Yeah, man. You have a 401k.
Fucking benefits.
Yeah, all that shit.
Well, benefits.
Any one of those fucking jobs.
A couple of those Benjamin fits.
I'd be the meter reader, just like walk around and just fucking.
No one. You shouldn't. There's a meter reader guy. That I know he went to school at Huntington. I don't know his name.
Entry level position.
I don't think anyone knew this guy's name because I never saw him hanging out with anyone.
Yeah.
But now, do you think he has a fucking chance?
Maybe. The PSEG.
Like no, if, not PSEG. Oh, the meter. I was thinking the parking people.
Oh, meter maid.
Yeah,
my friend Ray does that. It's like the worst shit.
Well, does anyone like Ray?
I don't like him because he does that. Oh no, is this recording? Fucking kick my ass. He's a fucking
recording
big guy.
That's all right. Put your headphones on. You could hear Cody making obnoxious comments about you.
What did I say?
Nothing.
You suck.
Huh?
But yeah, listen. I was thinking of meter maids when you said it, but the meter readers, like that's a job for robots.
Yeah,
like you would get that job, and then immediately a drone would come and blow up your car and say, "I do this job now."
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, in like Indonesian or something.
I hate those fuckers though.
They don't. I was talking to Steve, and he said that those meter readers are going to be replaced within the next 2 years.
With what?
Like they already.
Oh, getting
just digital.
Out.
They just have digital.
Digital ticket.
They're just like.
Yeah. Oh, you have to buy the thing.
No. Now we're talking about the other thing, the meter readers, the electric people.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I confused you because I was confused.
So
it's contagious.
There's gonna be robots driving around and shit.
No, they're just gonna read it digitally. You know how I could
link it to your license plate. Or
yeah,
something?
You know how you had that. You know when you have a girlfriend that you don't trust and you put on the Find My Phone thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just do that. They just find everyone's house.
That's scary.
Yeah,
pretty fucking
sucks,
scary.
Actually.
Yeah,
one less job for the.
Thanks, humans.
What else? Andrew Yang. This is why it would work. Please come back.
I want to. I mean, I guess you might as well just merge with them. That's what they say. That's what Elon says. The merge.
What
with
the
AI.
Asians?
If we well, he wants us to become AI so he can get free labor because then he doesn't have to work out the muscles. He just gets you thinking a certain way, and next thing you know, you're assembling tires with your bare hands. You've definitely lost a few fingers.
And you used autodidactic strategies.
Autodidactic. Very close.
Yeah,
that was
very
actually
good, Mike.
close. I would have believed if you said it really fast like that.
Yeah.
Well,
say it quick, see if you can trick me.
Autodidactic.
It's good.
That's not even right. That's not how you say it either, right?
Autodidactic.
Autodidactic.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you
There
go.
Think
when I
about
wrote it down,
didactic.
it's fucked
You know,
up.
like think about someone who can't say like
Autodidactic.
autodidactic.
Stretching that sentence,
Automatically die your penis. Okay, automatically
Ooh.
auto die dick. Auto die
Yeah,
my
yeah.
dick. I want to wake up
Yeah,
every
go
day
green.
and I want it to be bright red, and the next day on Tuesdays it would be purple because I have my auto die dick machine.
That's
Self-dying.
called a disease,
Stupid.
Tom.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't even have to do it because it does it automatically. You
Oh.
see, that's how I remember the word, and now I learned how to do the word, so I'll never forget that word ever again. Autodidic. It's coming to your house because Elon Musk will force it on you in the year 2035. He's going to him and Jeff Bezos are going to muscle it into your asshole.
Oh,
Well,
it's
I'm
going to be in every stocking stuffer.
Right. Let us
can't
help you
wait.
self-learn with Tide Fresh.
I'm glad I walked back into this conversation.
Oh, the segues are going to be weird as fuck on this one.
Yeah, just keep that in, Zwick.